It's time for Twig This Week in Google, and there's a lot of Google this week. Stacey Higginbotham's here, Ant Pruitt, Jeff Jarvis will talk about all the things Google talked about at Google I.O. and whether Google I.O.'s keynote was a success or failure, plus a little bit of other news, but really it's a Google week this week on This Week in Google. Stay tuned.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 715, recorded Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Illegal use of whipped cream. This Week in Google is brought to you by Melissa. More than 10,000 clients worldwide rely on Melissa for full-spectrum data quality and ID verification software. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free at melissa.com/twit. And by Twit. Thank you for listening. As an ad-supported network, we're always looking for new partners with products and services that will benefit our audience. 99% of our audience listens to most or all of our shows. Grow your brand with authentic ad reads that always resonate with our audience. Reach out to advertise at twit.tv and launch your campaign now. It's time for Twig This Week in Google. And today of all days, what makes today a special day of the year? Boys and girls, we'll talk about that with Jeff Jarvis, who's been here since the early morning hours, it seems. BuzzMachine.com.
He's tired of me. He's bored with me. He's fed up with me already.
I love you. Are you kidding? Jeff is the Leonard Town Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Pigeons at the City University of New York. Author of The Gutenberg Parenthesis. Available for pre-order now at gutenbergparenthesis.com.
Thank you.
Also here from Hands On Photography, twit.tv/hop. A man who is desperate for questions for tomorrow's Ask Me Anything on Alex Wilhelm. We'll come up with some for you, Ant. Get your pencil and paper.
I'm sure you will.
Ask him
group you are.
what it's like living in Leo's childhood home. He does, you know. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
All right. Don't mention the address because we don't want to dox them.
No, we won't do that.
Yeah. It's a
looking forward to it, though.
Weird coincidence, but he's also a great financial reporter, writes for TechCrunch. There's lots. If you just get him started on, what's going on with the economy, and I think you got 2 or 3 hours right there.
We'll be there 2 hours right out the gate.
Exactamente. That's for Club Twit members tomorrow. What is it, 9 a.m. again? You do
9 a.m. Pacific time.
Crazy, man.
Only in our Club Twit Discord.
Yep, got to be there.
Twit Discord.
Be there or be square. Also with us, Stacey Higginbotham, who was prepared to begin much later today. Thank you for your patience, Staceyana.
Just stock up on the waffles, Stacey.
Oh, I don't want waffles right now. I just need Kleenex and Sudafed.
Does it hurt and have a temperature? Are you okay?
I'm going to be sad and pathetic, and then I'm going to sniff a lot.
She's going to talk like this. I'm sorry. Colds are the worst.
No.
Don't like them. Don't like them. They're not the worst.
Blood cancer is the worst.
There's much worse. You're right. What am I saying? They're just, they're annoying.
Those are just mildly irritating.
Yeah. They're
like
annoying.
me.
Yeah. No, you're not annoying.
No.
What have I done to this show? Everybody on this show thinks I hate you. I don't. I love you. I don't. You're not. None of you. You're all wonderful. We are.
You know what gets me is everybody's is like, oh boy, it's going to be a late show, and Miss Stacey is going to get tired and need her waffles. But everybody is totally looking over the fact that you've been there at the studio just as early as myself and Mr. Jammer B.
Oh yeah, you were here earlier than me.
A bit punchy.
I do,
even when you're not early.
I am already punchier. You're right. Did you notice that? Yeah. I'm punchy. Yeah, what are you talking about? Actually, Jeff and I watched the Google event because Google I.O. was this morning. We watched the Google event. And at the time, I'm thinking, Google's really lost their mojo. I mean, I've thought that the last few Google I.O.s. But it just seemed disjointed. They spent an hour and 20 minutes basically saying nothing about AI. That was their AI.
Wait, no. No, they said AI a lot. I think that's
a lot.
Okay.
I really appreciated how they were like, you know what? People think we suck at AI. We're going to just show them all the ways that it has been a part of our product, and we're going to apply it to. And you know what? Some of it was good. And I actually thought of Jeff when I saw duets for work. Was it duets? Yeah, for workspace. I'm excited by some of it.
He thought of it too. He was saying, I bet I don't even get that.
I imagined.
Well, this was what I was going to finish the thought, which is at the time, it really felt like it was kind of disjointed. It was disproportionately devoted to a lot of hand waving, like, no, we got AI. We got it. No, we got it. We got it. We're not going to give it to you yet, but we got it.
We've had it for a long time. We've been in this forever.
An hour and 20 minutes of that. Then it felt like an hour, but it was really only 8 or 9 minutes on wallpaper.
It was exactly 7 minutes.
That was painful. Man, that was painful.
Geez.
Because, they're trying to show all the new features of the next Android, but it's like there's nothing new in any phone. Almost everything they showed was catching up with.
Look, you touch the poop emoji and it moves.
Oh, God, it was just terrible. And then they finally, in the last half hour, showed new products. Actually, some interesting new products. They showed the new tablet. They finally released it. It's available today for pre-order. Ships next month. And it's the one that has the dock that I thought was pretty cool when they showed that.
Included.
Months ago. And the dock's included in the $499 price for 128 gigs of RAM. It's a real tablet that ends up being...
very disappointing.
Oh, are you disappointed? The price?
When we get there. No, not the price. I'm disappointed with the tablet. But we can talk about that.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. They also showed the folding phone, and that's $1,700. But we're going to throw in a watch because we couldn't sell those anyway. And here, have one of the Pixel watches, and then we're over. Bye bye. It was so. I felt like this wasn't great. But then,
is there a but coming here, Leo?
Yes, there's a but. Because then I'm sitting in Windows Weekly and there's press release after press release after press release, and there's a ton of good stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And actually this more underscores my feeling that they just did not know how to deliver a decent keynote. They need to get this thing in hand, because in fact there's some I forgot to mention also the 7A, which nothing they announced we didn't know about. But right. Yeah, actually, it's better than I thought.
It seemed like the keynote was more about trying to appease the shareholders and the board by just saying AI 50 times an hour. Just so the shareholders know, well, Google's working on AI, so my money's probably going to be okay. That's what it sounded like to me. Nothing that us, quote, normal folks would really care about.
Well, and it's a developers conference. Stacey, if you were a developer, would you be disappointed that you spent an hour and 20 minutes?
Oh, yeah. If I was a developer, because it really didn't feel like it's not. Google Cloud is a developer conference. I always just, they're like, they want it to be like the keynote for WWDC.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Microsoft's Build is coming up. Apple's WWDC is coming up. Those are developer conferences. Google feels like they lost their mojo.
5G a million times.
That was Apple. Yeah. That was a couple of 3 years ago.
This is their equivalent with AI.
AI.
5G, AI.
All right. Well, so Stacey, some of the things you saw were pretty cool in the keynote. Let's start with the keynote.
So the keynote I thought was, I guess, probably because I was doing other things while I was watching it. I actually thought it was pretty good.
I wish I had been. I should have brought a crossword.
Yeah,
were you making brownies?
It was good. No, I was writing up my podcast post and editing some stuff. I was just working. Just had it on, kind of Sundar talking about whatever. But I thought it was important for them to emphasize that they've been doing AI for a while, and they did a good job, I thought, of that. I know we don't care about that, but it's important. I liked the fact that you could pull your photos. I thought of you, Ant, being able to auto-generate,
additional
autocomplete, basically.
Editing tools.
Yeah, I thought that was really nice.
Those are really good.
Let me see if I can find it. They showed a picture of a kid with some balloons, except as shot, the balloons are off, partly off camera, and the kid's not centered. which, by the way,
Happens all the time.
is what you want most
Kids
of the
move.
time. But you also, nobody wants, I mean, artistically, you don't
Okay,
want to put
that
people in
doesn't
the
matter.
middle of the picture. But anyway, he wasn't in the middle.
The
and they
cool
said,
part.
so they stretch, they move the kid over. And the bench and the balloons are auto-generated, stretched out. It fills it in. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they cut. And I thought it was really cool. They were like, you can change the sky. And the lighting effect will change. And I want to see this in real life. I want to get Ant's opinion on it once we've got it in our hands. But like, that's the kind of practical stuff people love. I don't know how they're going to charge for it. And I actually thought it was super compelling how they were pulling all of these integrations
That's
into.
the Keynote I just pulled.
Yeah, I was
Stacey's
like-
new theme song.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I'll
So,
go with that.
I have
Super
to
compelling. Wait,
I have to point out that this is plenty of apps on Android that'll do this.
Yes.
Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, but
Ant?
now it's native, though.
but now it's native and presumably it'll be better. You don't have to sit through ads or pay for it. But the other thing is that
Luma
they're
Fusion
pulling all
will
this
put in
stuff
any
together.
sky you want. I prefer not to do that because it becomes pretty obvious that you faked the sky, but okay. I guess in a snapshot,
Well, that's what-
okay.
That's what Google's saying. It'll make it less obvious that you're fake in the sky. And also, my grandma is not going to be like
Right, grandma
hanging
doesn't
out.
mind, yeah.
But the integrations with other Google stuff was really compelling. And I've been playing with Bard. Maybe I've just not, like, being able to export stuff into Google Sheets was
Yeah,
cool.
that impressed
that
even
was
Leo.
cool.
The sidekick stuff was amazing. I really want to play with that. I can't wait. I'm like, and I loved how they emphasized. I understand why they did this, but it as a Kickstarter. They called it. What do they call it? A jumpstart. They use the word jumpstart so many times. The idea being that it jumpstarts or kickstarts
Right.
your creativity,
Well-
and they showed us how, which I think is important.
What I interpret that as is please don't use this for your content.
I know why they did it, but I also think it's important that you see people like showing you how to make this additive, right? Like,
Yeah.
especially for people who aren't gonna, like, if you're a school teacher, dude, you're not gonna be playing with this in your spare time necessarily. You're
Right.
tired.
Right.
But if you can, if something like this comes along and is like, here, let me help you show your students how to use this in a more responsible way, that's really important.
Here's Sundar Pichai demonstrating this new technique.
As a parent, you always want your kid at the center of it all. And it looks like the balloons got cut off in this one. So you can go ahead and reposition the birthday boy. Magic Editor automatically recreates parts of the bench and balloon.
Fake.
Isn't that
Fake
what-
news.
Isn't that wild? Now, I know, Ant, you're going to pixel peep this, and you're going to say, well,
Imagine it
actually,
right now the color is off just a touch.
Yeah.
But that can be fixed over time.
and the
That-
bench
AI will
is
fix that
kind of
over time.
smeared, but Grandma ain't going to notice. Grandma's going to go,
Not gonna
wow,
know.
it's cute.
I think they did a fine job with that for something to do it right there on the phone for anybody to be able to do it, not just people that are used to opening up content-aware field inside of Photoshop.
And I have to say, credit to them for sewing something that people really would want and use, as opposed to, just some, look how I can take your table setting and put it in a spreadsheet or whatever it was they were doing.
Or talking about classes and inheritance and
Well, it's a developer conference. Developers like that kind of thing.
So I think, Leo, that you and I just got up on the wrong
Recursion.
side of the bed, it appears.
No, because look at this presenter who couldn't manage to stand up. So they had
Man,
to
when
give
you
her
said that,
they had to give her a box for her arms
And I can
because
click-
she was so tired that she had to lean on the
I
box.
laughed
wait,
so
maybe-
hard when you brought that up.
Maybe she has other issues.
No, maybe. Okay,
Maybe-
fine. You're right.
No, Leo's the one with issues here.
It could be a
voice of
handicap.
reason,
I
Mrs.
completely
Higginbotham.
agree. She might be
just
like
saying,
you.
like-
You have floppy hands. Maybe she has floppy
Exactly.
elbows.
She could have floppy
elbows.
hands. She could be like having, long COVID. Who knows?
Yeah.
It just
I-
I've been in TV long enough to know that a director, she did it without the box, and the director's going crazy because the phones moving around and the camera can't hold it. And they go, get her an Apple box and put her elbows on it. And so they have a solid phone.
She's probably nervous then.
She was.
I
In
mean,
fact,
my God.
several presenters, and this was the other thing, and I have to give them some slack for. Remember, this is the first one where they're really coming back from COVID after 3 years of like, we're going to present this at a coffee table in our living room, and everybody's going to be in their bare feet, which they literally did with one of their Pixel announcements. So at least two of them said, "Oh, it's tough being in front of such a big crowd." Like they haven't been out in public in a while. So okay, I'll cut them some slack.
In Google, I mean, I know if you're going to be an executive, you do have to have presentation skills, but like Google sometimes pulls up some really deep cuts on the executive team, and you know, they're also pretty anyway.
Highlight for
I'm
me.
going to give people a slack.
Stacey's all positive.
She's a nice person, and she's, you know, in a way, I want to agree with you because after I saw the press releases, Google had a lot to talk about. I think the only complaint I have is that the keynote as a whole wasn't very well thought. For instance, one of the demos they did,
not polished.
It wasn't very polished. One of the demos.
Well, what you're saying too, Leo, is it didn't have a strategic thread that went through it.
Mostly, it's that.
Didn't have a
I could
message
forgive
that went through
polish. There's a lot of unpolished keynotes. That's normal. You know, Apple's raised the bar, but most companies are, you know. But I wanted to see this, and this is where I think a failure of leadership. There should be a vision and a through thread through the whole thing. This is who we are, and what you said, Jeff.
We stand for responsible AI.
Exactly.
We will do it right. You can trust us. Something like that.
That was the message they were trying to get, but I don't think they came across.
But it didn't come through.
Oh, I thought they did some. I thought the ideas that they had were pretty strong. They uttered, like, if I had been there and, you know, you could interrupt a keynote to ask a question, I would have been like, I'm sorry, how are you going to ask other people to showcase their metadata or make sure they put their fake watermarking in there?
Right.
They talked about detecting fake watermarking. I would have loved to see that demo. They have a lot of things where I really felt like Google's like, oh, crap, this AI stuff, I know we're not doing evil anymore, or we're okay with evil, but we probably want to do this. Like, I really thought that came through in a way, but also it underscored how little they can do without any sort of big overarching federal legislation or like
also,
how little power they have in this industry.
I've heard this tune before from Google. Year after year, they show stuff and they sing their praises and never release it, or release it many years later, watered down. I mean, I'm not, they didn't convince me. Now, there was one thing, and I will say this was really the strong suit. They did bring out somebody they've appointed as the senior vice president who reports directly to Sundar Pichai, essentially for AI responsibility and ethics.
Yeah,
society.
That was a good segment.
Yeah, James Manyika. And he is real heavy. He's worked in the Obama administration, worked for the UN. Was a partner at McKinsey. I mean, he is a real heavyweight and presumably has the ear of Pichai and is brought in really to think about the impacts on society of AI. So his presentation was pretty good. I thought that was kind of the highlight.
Can we stay on that for 1 second, Leo?
Sure.
I think that is really important. I think that could have been the thread that went through.
Yes.
And what he presented was stuff that disinformation people, I asked for it myself. I've been at Google Newsgeist, and every year we say a session that I started, what should Google do? Because he got it as a plug for my book. And every year I say, give us the provenance of images. Let us know the first time you saw this image so we can know whether it's really new, really old, where it came from, and so on.
Let me show you that clip. Let me show you the clip, because this is exactly what he was talking about. Do you have his audio?
You will be able to see important information such as when and where similar images.
Let me jump back so we get the audio. Hold on. Oh, now I've lost it. Shoot. I apologize. Here we go.
One area that is top of mind for us is misinformation. Generative AI makes it easier than ever to create new content, but it also raises additional questions about its trustworthiness. That's why we're developing and providing people with tools to evaluate online information. For example, have you come across a photo on a website or one shared by a friend with very little context, like this one of the moon landing.
So this is of the staged moon landing. They've got the lunar lander and they've got an astronaut, but then they have, a fake lunar landscape and a bunch of directors and producers and camera people who are faking it, right?
And found yourself wondering, is this reliable? I have, and I'm sure many of you have as well. In the coming months, we're adding 2 new ways for people to evaluate images. First, with our About This Image tool in Google Search, you'll be able to see important information such as when and where similar images may have first appeared, where else the image has been seen online, including news, fact-checking, and social sites.
And what you learn, of course, is that image is a Mid-Journey AI-generated image. And there's enough, background material to show that. Now, here's the drawback. You had to do a Google image search to find that out, right?
Well, but there's a few things. One is it also shows you when you ask about an image using Lens,
they're going to use it.
It can tell you this thing was generated by and so on and so forth. So,
right.
so
they're going to add it to Lens, yeah.
It's first. It's for I think one level. It's not for everybody. It's for researchers and journalists to be able to fact check and say, this is where this came from. We know we have a new tool.
Yeah.
But it can be for everybody too. And I argue that we're all going to have more responsibility for figuring out what's true and what's false out there. And this is another tool to do that. The other part of this too is that he also talked about watermarking images, and I presume at some point text too, so we can have more sense of the provenance of where this stuff comes from. Is everybody screaming about, oh my God, there's going to be all this disinformation manufactured by the machine? Yes, there will be. But this was a moment of great responsibility that Google was finally responding to what disinformation researchers have wanted. And the underlying message is we're going to try to do AI right. We're going to try to do it responsibly. Won't always succeed, but this is how we're trying to do it. I think that was just by far the best part of it. Sorry, Stacey.
No, that's right. And they actually, even when they talked about Bard doing code, they actually, if you do code, if you have it generate code for you, it's like it actually annotates the code and says, hey, this was generated by, I don't know if it says by Bard, but whatever. And again, you can strip that out, but those are the kind of things that we need to be looking for. And yes, it'd be great if the whole industry does it, but it's also kind of cool. How people associate Apple with privacy. Google might have a chance to come in here and we search Google to make sure our information is accurate. Right. And they could be like Snopes.
Again,
wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
The other thing too is that they're finally talking about AI and search, and I've been arguing that Microsoft is doing this terribly irresponsibly, and Google, by trying to chase Microsoft as being irresponsible, word assembly machines are not good at facts. But the way that Google showed AI and search, and I want to play with it a lot more and learn a lot more about it, but it was, rather than saying, it did say, here's a paragraph, but then it showed, here's where we got the information in each of those paragraphs. And it was more iterative in saying, okay, you search for this, now you probably want this, then you're going to want a list of that. And that's a cleverer use of AI than simply let me regurgitate words back to you. But they didn't present it very well.
Yeah, if you're interested, it was very disjointed, and we have to work to boil it down to find those nuggets in the dross. There's a lot of dross. This, by the way, if you want to try all of these things, many of them are going to be in the labs, g.co/labs, an address Sundar got wrong, by the way, g.co/labs. And then you'll have to have the appropriate app on your phone and all of that. But some of this stuff you can use right away, including, it was pretty funny, this project Tailwind, which they even admitted, we got a bunch of guys together and they cobbled this together in 5 days. It's like, you knew that the I/O keynote was coming, right? But 5 days ago, they got some guys.
Leadership.
5 days or 5 people.
It was 5 days, he said.
5 days. He said it 5 days.
That's Google. That's part of that, I don't know. Let's get some engineers. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I know it's Google. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, why is that acceptable? That's my problem.
Well,
it's acceptable because they're trying. Google is an engineering. They don't have a team, right? Google's known, Apple is the polished, Apple would never. But
Oh, God,
Google,
yeah.
they're
They
like,
haven't announced anything yet, right?
Yeah,
That's really true,
we're your
Stacey. Really true.
Goofy engineering buddies. We're just going to see what happens.
Well, and that's
It'll
how
be
they sold
beta
it.
forever.
Like, look how amazing these tools are. We were able to get this together in 5 days. And actually, this was one of the things that Jeff and I both thought, oh, that's actually pretty cool. Project Tailwind will take, one of the things they said is, look, the AI is better if it's in a kind of a limited knowledge area. So as an example, Project Tailwind takes your Google Docs, like Jeff's notes for all of his books, and then assembles them into a notebook where you can ask questions of your own research. And that kind of does make sense, I guess. It's taking off on a very popular idea called Zettelkasten. In fact, you'll notice if you look at the Project Tailwind animated GIF, you can do on your research a reading quiz, which means they expect students to use this, right? To take notes and then test their knowledge on the notes for the final, and new ideas. Now, this is the one I have some questions about. One of the reasons you'll do Zettelkasten or some sort of note-taking methodology is because when you have all these disparate notes and you start making connections, you get new ideas. But if you let the machine do it for you, A, it ain't going to be a very interesting new idea, and B, you're not doing it. So I don't know how valuable that's going to be. But Jeff, you thought this would be kind of cool for your notes, say on the Gutenberg book, yeah?
Yeah, and I think well, I've already written that book, but the internet book I desperately needed. I got files and files and files and files.
Yeah, that's a challenge, right? You do all these interviews and all this research. How do you tie it all into a coherent whole?
So I think that there's a lot there to play with that's really interesting. And what I also liked about it is that it's concentrating on limited sets of data. That rather than, and this is what Timnit Gebru and Margaret Mitchell and company in the Stochastic Parrots paper said, Margaret Mitchell's been very big on this, or Emily Bender has been very big on this, saying, stop, boys, with trying to get size matters when it comes to your learning set. It's unproductive. It's harder to monitor. It doesn't really work. What you've got to go for is limited sets of data that the system can learn on and be reliable in learning on it. And you know where it came from then. You can monitor it and audit it, and you can verify things. And that's a much better way to go. So when you get down to the tiniest of the tiny, and it's going on just the data in your phone or just the data in your Google Docs or just the data in your company, that becomes a much more interesting use of the capabilities of LLMs to me than this, we have all the knowledge of the world and it's going to destroy humanity BS.
Yeah, as a journalist, like I love, like Project Tailwind to me is like, it is basically a better Google Brain. I always joke that I would search my articles and like my brain is either in my inbox or my brain is in my, it's in my, I call it the morgue, but it's not really a morgue because it's an online thing. It's not a place where my old clips are. But being able to put all of my notes, I would feel weird about just because some of it's under embargo or secret, like that gets a little dicey. But like
if it stayed on your machine, if you knew it stayed,
if it stayed on my machine, but it's connected to the internet, so
you're still nervous.
I mean, I don't really write national security stories, but you know.
No, that's a legitimate concern, and that's one of the things they kind of tried to address early on is privacy. But again, I think they could have made a more coherent statement of their commitment to keeping your data private on device, making it safe for somebody like you to use.
But yeah, just to be able to say like, oh, how did I define peering? How did I do this? Or to have something sum up.
Here's my question. Can you trust it?
If it's only on my data? Yeah, because I've written that and fact checked it already.
And you can check your own data again. You can look it up.
Yeah. So I love that idea.
Okay.
It would be, because like
I get it.
Half of my job when I'm writing something new, especially about the news, is just summarizing the stuff, like the 6 years of everything that has happened before. So that's kind of neat, I think.
You know, again, as always with Google I/O, I look at this stuff. Some of this stuff you can do right now. Some of this stuff you can do later. Some of the stuff you may never be able to do, and it's not always clear what's what. So so I always think of everything we see as a demo. and maybe it's a good idea, but you won't really know till you try it. Maybe you'll get some insights. Maybe you won't, though. I mean, the problem with AI is just confidently wrong. It's so confident. I don't know if it's going to be that useful.
If it's trained on your data, then it kind of depends on what you're asking. I think it's a better. It's
not a large language model. It's a Stacey language model.
Yeah, and I trust Stacey language.
Right. Here's Sundar talking about some of the features in Gmail. This, they say, is real.
Let's get started. 7 years into our journey as an AI-first company, we are at an exciting.
No, by the way. See, we've been doing this for 7 years. We've been,
We've been here, really. We were here before them.
We have an opportunity to make AI even more helpful.
That's true.
For people, for businesses, for communities, for everyone. We've been applying AI to make our products radically more helpful for a while.
Because I thought that was
generative AI, we are taking the next step. With the bold and all our core products, including search. You will hear more later in the keynote. Let me start with few examples of how generative AI is helping to evolve our products, starting with Gmail. In 2017, we launched Smart Reply.
Do you use Smart Replies, Stacey?
I do.
Yeah. I've used them. Apple has them now,
sometimes
too.
if they're appropriate.
Yeah.
I use them.
You know where they're really...
It never sounded like me.
They're more useful in texting to me than they are in mail. But I use them on Apple Messages.
Yes, on the phone.
And on my watch, sometimes I'll get a message and it suggests, because I'm not going to do a lot of typing on my watch, but it'll suggest.
Yeah, right.
And I'll use that. Sometimes it makes me sound a little robotic.
It's neither as polite nor as firm as Mr. Pruitt.
So this is a step.
Exactly.
This is a step farther. Watch this. Watch this.
Short responses you could select with just one click. Next came Smart Compose, which offered writing suggestions as you type. Smart Compose led to more advanced writing features powered by AI.
I always hate when it's proposing a cliche that I was going to write.
180 billion times in the past year alone. And now with a much more powerful generative model, we are taking the next step in Gmail with Help Me Write. Let's say you got this email that your flight was canceled. The airline has sent a voucher, but what you really want is a full refund. You could reply and use Help Me Write. Just type in the prompt of what you want and email to ask for a full refund
for this canceled
hit create,
flight.
And a full draft appears.
Okay, but this is the first draft.
As you can see, it conveniently pulled in flight details from the previous email. And it looks pretty close to what you want to send.
I understand you're offering a voucher as a gesture of goodwill, but I'd prefer to be reimbursed for the cost of my ticket. I appreciate your understanding.
Maybe you want to refine it further. In this case, a more elaborate email might increase the chances of getting the refund.
I'm feeling lucky.
I have been a loyal customer for many years. However, I am very disappointed with the way my recent flight was handled. This caused me a great deal of inconvenience. I believe a full refund is the only fair way. This is good at writing an angry letter, right?
Until the airline gets 100 of these.
Yeah. Well, but they won't all be the same. That's one thing, at least, generative AI is good at, is not repeating itself so much, right? Maybe not. Maybe if you send out 1,000, there'd only be.
I wrote a cover story.
If you cancel that many flights, you might end up with but you would end up with that with people anyway.
Yeah, and it's pretty believable. Go ahead, Jeff.
I filed a Freedom of Information request some years ago with the Federal Communications Commission because they imposed what was then the largest fine in their history to Fox Entertainment for illegal use of whipped cream. I'll spare you the details. And there were thousands.
What's an illegal use of whipped cream?
It was somehow sexual and whipped cream in prime time, and it was going to corrupt America.
Okay.
So supposedly there were thousands of responses. This is why the FCC had to act and had to do the biggest fine ever in history until Howard Stern later. And I got all the responses, all of them. And it turned out that all but 2 were from the same push, the Parents Television Council.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that meant that only 3 Americans had taken the time to actually write a letter complaining. Yeah. But it didn't matter because there were thousands and the FCC used it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The FCC now puts those, when you make the comment, they're online and you can search
Because
them.
of
And you
me.
can actually see.
Yeah.
It's because of me.
Okay.
Oh,
Because,
good
yeah, net
job.
neutrality, you're like,
Yeah.
boom.
And by the way,
All
we
of
now
them
have
are
a
the
show
same.
title, An Illegal Use of Whipped Cream. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You know,
didn't take
I
long.
always love it when what comes out of my mouth by accident ends up as a show title. I don't know. It just makes me very happy. Feels like a little bit of posterity there, you know?
All right, let's go on with Sundar Pichai. So he's written a really nasty
better over
note.
time. The next example is maps. Since the early days of Street View, AI has
No,
stitched
I'm going to
together
skip this
billions
because
of panoramic
we've actually
images.
seen
But
this.
you know what was
People
really
can
cool?
explore
What?
the world
Oh, yeah.
from
I don't
their
care about that. You can stop that.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Sit by
What was really cool?
when they were talking about like listing colleges, and then this was part of the kind of export to other Google things where they're like, show me on a map. Because when I'm like, oh, shoot, I need the following, like, give me
As
some good
long as
bars
those
in
colleges
Paris.
are real.
Okay, Leo, I get that you think that these things make them up.
Show me on a
No
map.
one
I
is
pissed
going-
off people
no
by
one
questioning
is
the reality of
going-
the college.
Okay.
No, they're
All
really
This again is the jump start. That's why they emphasized the jump start. That's all this is. And you know what? You have to do this. And it's a much easier way to, if I can spend 10% of my time on the early phase of any research project, as opposed to spending a quarter of my time and then validating, why wouldn't I do that?
Okay.
Validation's always a step.
I'm not an expert in this, so it's maybe you have to release it to the public and let them bang on it. But maybe you could also write something that instead of having absolutely no care for the factuality of what it's writing, also had a step of saying, let's make sure this is real and we're not making up stuff. And neither Microsoft nor Google with Bard seems to have yet figured out a way to say this should be factual. And I think that that's going to be problematic.
He talked about, Sundar Pichai talked about training the models initially on mathematical and physics data to give it a basis in like logic and facts. You can't, when you train something from the internet, you're gonna get wacky things. Just like I was taught by a crazy 7th grade teacher, and I have in my head a whole year's worth of weird,
That
wrong
explains
stuff
it.
from this woman.
It's all 7th grade.
Good point. Good point.
So, I mean, you're gonna encounter wrong information in your
good
search.
point.
Well, fine. Then that's my question. Again, I'm not an expert in this, but is that necessary? Or
Yes,
or
nothing is authoritative. No.
Wolfram
nothing can be
Wolfram Alpha
authoritative.
does not make mistakes.
Wolfram Alpha is a math engine.
Okay. But
Math
it's-
is like
In which, as Sundar said, they're starting with math. They're emphasizing. He emphasized
emphasizing-
I got to point
math
out,
and
neither
logic.
ChatGPT or Bard does math correctly. So they're not even doing this, base of this.
yeah, but they're
So maybe
that's
they
not
should
the
have.
core function.
Well, I know the core function has nothing to do with accuracy. However, maybe it should, especially if you're going to give people information about what colleges are out there with these courses. If you've paid no attention to the actual veracity of the material, it seems like that's a bad idea.
Yes, if that's the case.
That's
the
why
question.
they're
you're like saying we got to build
jumpstart.
we got to build cars that emit poisonous gas first to see if
Okay,
it
no.
kills people, and
This
then
is-
we can put out cars that aren't
Well,
dangerous.
There's a
No
point
one's
to that,
doing
actually.
that. So what they're like, as a journalist, you're sort of a journalist, so we'll use this. I have a story. I'm going to come up with something. I'm going to start with the simple Google search. Before I talk to any experts, I'm just going to try to wrap my head around what I'm trying to figure out. So let's say it's 6G. I'm going to be like, okay, 6G, what is it? What does it look like? Okay. And I'm going to go through my searches, and some of them are going to look authoritative and some of them aren't. And then I'm going to call people who know, and then I'm going to report something that's factual. To me, what they're doing with like the college search or any of this jumpstart stuff is simply the same thing I would do anyway on Google. It's just a little bit better, and it's going to be better organized for my consumption.
Right. Timnit
Stacey, I
Gebru
think
and
you're
Margaret
right.
Mitchell's point was because it's coming out of the mouth of this computer, people give it more import and trust it and say it's accurate. And that's very risky. I'm just making the point they made.
I know, but we have to do that across all, not just in information. We have to do that in terms of like our politics. When we talk about things being data driven, that's stupid. We still have like data it's the same thing we're always learning as people, which is data can lie, experts can lie. We have to validate for ourselves.
And Leo, to your point about the car, yeah, you're going to start driving cars before you realize the impact of parking lots and pollution and all that. And in essence, we sped up. And so the other two announcements today that were critical here is that ChatGPT, OpenAI, says they're building a system to understand how their system operates, right? Because it kind of got away from them. And Anthropic is building a constitution for their AI, and they're doing that. And I think that that's important, that they are trying to reverse engineer back in sense and ethics and things. Is it too late? Should they stop for 6 months? No, that's ridiculous. But is there a chance to learn as you go? Yeah, I think so. I just saw a fascinating paper that came across from a Kurt Gray, a UNC professor, just on Twitter, that looked at the moral judgments they got out of ChatGPT 3.5. And they put all kinds of questions to them versus there's data on what people judged of these things. And it was 95% the same, which is to say that ChatGPT spits back what we think. And so obviously we got to blame ourselves a lot.
I mean, I guess I like Wikipedia a lot, and there's plenty of contrafactual stuff in Wikipedia. It just seems
not that much
enough that
that's
if you quoted it without checking, you might quote
You're risky. Yeah, that's
risky.
Yeah, but you should never quote.
But you shouldn't.
I mean,
yeah.
Any one thing.
But there is a difference, I think, when you're doing search results versus, right? I mean, don't we trust search results?
No, God, with the spamming and the manipulation of search results, please no.
And there's also the larger concern that these engines, these tools make it possible to create massive amounts of misinformation very rapidly. So we've kind of weaponized misinformation in the same way that we weaponize social media. And now we're going to have 10x, 100x the amount of misinformation. It's manageable when it's Wikipedia and you can check. How manageable is it if all of a sudden this stuff is spewing forth everywhere? I think this was a reasonable concern that Tim Nick.
It is a reasonable concern, but to push back and make that if that is your primary concern, we need to say, okay, well, how do we deal with this instead of just throwing out the baby with the bathwater?
Oh no, I'm saying that. What I'm saying is, no. So there are people who say, oh yeah, you got to stop this because it's going to be Skynet and take over the world, and that's completely missing the point. The real danger of this is not that. The real danger of this is it's just going to flood the zone with crap. And I think it's not inappropriate for companies like Microsoft and Google and OpenAI, Anthropic and the rest to kind of think about that, consider that, and maybe instead of just pushing out something that is so bad at creating factual material, they should maybe have gone the extra step to make it more reliable. How hard is that to do? Maybe this is where I don't know. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe you can't. Well, in which case,
that's
I guess,
where you look at the OpenAI story, and you got Sam saying how incredibly difficult it is. What they're looking at literally is neurons. They're saying when the word dollar is recommended, it looks at what other things flash up and what connections.
It doesn't know context. It doesn't know what a dollar is.
So they don't even know how that operates. They're learning things about how their own machine operates.
Maybe you would want to slow down a little bit then. I mean,
you want to stop for 6 months? You want to agree with Haley?
I don't like the 6 month hold, but I wish these companies had been a little bit more. And I thought Google was going to be a little bit more circumspect.
But maybe we're saying that they are today.
Being I think they're being circumspect around things that make sense, which is annotation, being able to watermark what they can. Do I think that they should be also advocating for like a big federal push for this? Or
No.
Sure.
I don't want the feds to come in. In fact, that's the argument for them doing it themselves, because if they don't, then there's the risk the feds are going to come in and they're going to mishandle it.
There's definitely rules. Like, I think there's rules for auditing. I think there's rules for making sure, because there are always going to be crappy people in companies and governmental organizations who don't have budget to throw people out of the loop on important AI-based decisions, and that's going to cause a lot of problems.
Do you think having AI search will be better than having just plain old Google PageRank-based search?
So I am really intrigued by this as a person who's running a media company. Kevin and I were talking about SEO and what this means, because it kind of changes the nature of the content that I would produce for some search terms. Like, we get a lot of search terms because we wrote very early on about shutting. With mesh routers, you've got 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi and 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, but a lot of smart home devices only have 2.4. So if you've got a mesh system, sometimes it's like, your device freaks out. So we wrote an article explaining that and then talking about how to avoid that in some routers. And that's like one of our most searched for things.
All right.
There would be a benefit for us to actually keep that more up to date, because we're going to, over time, it's become, there are routers that are no longer relevant, right? It was like Euro 5s. And so there's a benefit for us to, if we want to have authority to keep our content continuously fresh on hot topics and to add more keywords over time that, we're not doing today. I don't know if we're ever going to do that, but it's something to think about.
And AI search is better for that than Google's PageRank?
Yeah. I mean, if you search for that today in Google, like, why doesn't my 2.4 gigahertz IoT device not connect? I don't know if my article will come up there or not, but you get a lot of like my site might come up and I feel like it's authoritative and it's not scammy with ads, or you get like WikiHow.
I was going to say,
or
you probably see a lot of WikiHow out there that are sort of.
Well, and look what CNET was doing, generating, in fact, Red Ventures with all of their properties, like Bankrate is doing. They're generating link bait. Because with AI, because they can do it really quickly and cheaply.
12%, according to a study, 12% of all ads online are going to AI manufactured, made for advertising sites. So we're already there. Even before ChatGPT really takes off, there's a lot of stuff that's just purely generated.
We'll multiply that by 10.
Well, and that's what bothered me the most about today's presentation was the PowerPoint stuff, the Sheets stuff, is that PowerPoint already ruined human thinking enough and turned it into simple, stupid little thoughts, right? And now the machine is going to make the PowerPoint and all the illustrations on it and the talking notes on it. And so nothing's real.
Right.
A friend of mine named Matthew Kirschenbaum from the University of Maryland wrote a piece for The Atlantic a few weeks ago about the textpocalypse. What he's saying is there's going to be so much text becomes absolutely meaningless and devalued. And I think that's true.
Let's watch, real briefly, the Google Sheets presentation.
One of our most popular use cases is the trusty job description. Every business, big or small, needs
Google
to hire
Sheets or
people.
slides?
A good job description
slides.
can make all the difference. Here's how Docs has been helping. Say you run a fashion boutique and need to hire a textile designer.
To
get started.
Wait a minute, let me
Yeah,
find,
this is Sheets, not slides.
Let me find there is the slides.
It's the cheesy fondue pizza.
Yeah, the pizza.
The cheesy
fondue pizza.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, why am I not dipping my pizza in cheese? Thanks, AI.
So this is Sheets.
I said on the show today, there'll be TikToks with recipes by tonight.
Is this it? This is the Mystery of Mermaid Cove. I don't want to do that. All right.
Not that again, please.
I'm sorry. I hope you held your thoughts, Stacey, because why don't you go ahead and I will try to find this.
Okay, so I'm going to counter, like, as someone who writes speeches, I actually thought this was super helpful because when I'm preparing, I hate preparing slides. I would rather just get up and talk to people, but everyone wants some sort of slide.
Yeah.
I love the fact that my slides are usually really text heavy, and they act almost as my notes, like, oh, this is the bullet point I want to make, and then I keep going. So I love the fact that I could actually come up with better illustrations for things that are pretty esoteric. So that's cool for me. And I never make speaker notes. So it's kind of like, ooh,
it was
I can have
auto-generating
notes.
speaker notes. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Now I will
that could be
read. I am very excited to be here.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't. So I don't read. I mean, my speaking style is very like, hey, everybody, what's up? And then but I am glancing at my slides to make sure that I'm staying on target and on point. But I like slides. They help me think. I am not a very, it helps me organize my thinking in ways that make it accessible to people. Like, not everybody's going to sit down and read like Montaigne, right? But you might read a PowerPoint of his points and feel like,
God, that's depressing.
Is it? I mean,
yes.
I think the core features that people are striving for, like when they talk about things like that, I think
I don't want to have to read anything. Just give me the highlights so I can sound smart.
Don't be an elitist. People want to feel like they've thought it for themselves and they can get there and they don't have to read that and spend that to get there.
Yeah.
I mean,
spend no time thinking. That's the last thing you want to do.
They are thinking. They're just thinking
in bullet points.
A more casual.
Yes.
They're thinking for conversation.
Look,
as
I haven't
opposed
read
to writing
Montaigne
a 15th century essay.
I
have. It's beautiful.
Okay.
But it's also a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot of Montaigne. I haven't read Proust either.
The concepts are valuable.
Yeah. Here's here's how you want to use your Google Sheets in the future.
In a slide deck. Everyone does their bit.
Happy 50th
Maybe this
anniversary.
deck could have more pizzazz. Let's pick one of the slides and use the poem on there as a prompt for image generation.
Mom loves her pizza.
Mom loves her pizza, cheesy and true, while Dad's favorite treat is a warm pot of fondue. Let's hit create and see what it comes up with.
A better poem, I hope.
Behind the scenes, that quote is sent as an input to our text-to-image models, and we know it's unlikely that the user will be happy with just one option. So we generate about 6 to 8 images so that you have the ability to choose and refine.
Most of them are pizza dipping into fondue.
Oddly delicious-looking fondue pizza images. Now, this style's a little too cartoony for me, so I'm going to ask it to try again. Let's change the style to photography and give it a whirl.
Oh, it's more than a whirl.
Just as weird, but it works for me.
So I don't know what they're applauding. It's lukewarm, but it is pictures of pizza being dipped into fondue.
Meanwhile, in the Discord, Stacy, I have pizza dipped in fondue.
In the Discord?
From TikTok. In the Discord. I put it in the Discord.
There's a...
I would like cheese on my cheese.
You found an action... Because you said this is going to be a TikTok.
Did I put it in the wrong one? This was in Google.
I don't know where you put it.
No, you put it in Twit News.
Put it in Twit News because I was over this afternoon. Okay, it's now in This Week in Google.
Here it is. We got it. Now we got to watch this, and then I'm going to take a break because I'm already nauseated. Here we go. Pizza.
Okay, that doesn't work. You got to go to the link. You got to click the link because of No, not okay. That's
all right.
Yep. You can jump forward a little bit
or a lot. It's not playing.
If it plays,
we'll take a break because I'm really not that interested.
I try to add little moments here. I try. All right. It's pretty disgusting when he actually does it.
TikTok fail.
What a surprise! Let's take a break, and we got a lot more still to come about what Google is talking about. And you know what I have to say, Stacy? You're right. This is all going to be useful, I'm sure. I feel like we're rushing headlong into this, and I feel like we did this before with Twitter and Facebook and a lot of stuff. And
we did. We are, and we always will. That's what we're doing. Yeah. That's what capitalism promotes.
I just want to argue for, I don't know, some thought. I guess you're right. It's not going to work.
And we are thinking, but you also, the best way to experience, to think fully about something is to experience it. Now, should we apply it? And applying it to
I wouldn't have
like
any
search.
Of these. I would not have any of these cavales if I hadn't tried it.
And the other thing is, it's iterative. It's not like a physical piece of hardware that we're buying. It's not like now. This should not be part of infrastructure yet, but I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's not true. I think some people will try. Like those PE firms buying hospitals, they're probably like, oh, MedPalm. I need to hire that today.
Yeah.
Google, what? Oh, yeah. Have we tested that? Who cares?
Excuse me. Can we talk about one of our sponsors and then get back to the conversation? Stacey Higginbotham, StaceyOnIoT.com and the IoT podcast with Kevin Toffel. Now with LinkBait.
So mean.
Oh, it's too mean. I'm sorry. Jeff Jarvis, professor at large at buzzmachine.com. Catch his new book, The Gutenberg Parenthesis, at a bookstore near you soon. And from High on Photography, our Club Twit community manager, Mr. Ant Pruitt, twit.tv/hop. Great to have all three of you. We'll try to be less cranky. I'm going to be less cranky. I'm going to be much more positive.
I don't believe it. You're as credible as ChatGPT.
What a kind word.
Bless your heart.
Our episode today brought to you by Melissa, the address experts. Address verification, that's hot right now, right? Because, well, you may have regulatory compliance issues that you have to, know your customer rules, things like that. It's also important for business success. What can accurate addresses do to help your business? Well, about 63% of shopping journeys begin online. 63%. 20% of shipping addresses, contain spelling mistakes, incorrect postal codes or house numbers, formatting errors. That means all those nice shopping journeys begun online may end up in tears. Having solutions like an address autocomplete service can ensure new and returning customers always get their packages on time and in the right place. An autocomplete service helps lower cart abandonment, always a problem, right, on shopping sites, because it speeds up the buying process for the customer. You've experienced that on nice sites. You start entering your house number and it says, oh, you mean this? Yes. The average large size e-commerce site can gain a 35% increase in conversion rates just by improving checkout design. And we know, when your customer service reps are entering data or your customers are entering data, there's going to be typos. There's going to be mistakes. Having that autofill just, gets the correct address in first time, every time. At the core of quick, accurate delivery, reliable, clean data. It's important to your customers. 41% of consumers say fast delivery is the most critical aspect of their online shopping experience. I tell you, I ordered a product. I wanted a walking stick to get before our trip, and it didn't get to me. I don't know where it ended up. It wasn't mine. And, I got a refund for it. So the merchant lost the sale, but also I was unhappy because I didn't get the thing I wanted before my trip. Not just fast, but accurate delivery. And guess what? 56% of shoppers say they will not purchase from the same store again if they're unsatisfied with their shipping experience. When I called for the refund, they said, well, you want us just to send you one? And I said, no, I want my money back. Verified addresses help with marketing campaigns and shorten sales cycles. Retailers rely on default address verification built into their platforms. It's not always accurate. It's not always intuitive. Having inline validation corrects addresses as they are entered. I've talked about this before. There are a couple of companies that I get multiple copies of the same catalog to the same name and address. That's just a waste of their money and a waste of my time. It's estimated about 20 to 40% of customer records in a single marketing campaign are duplicates. That's 20 to 40% of your spend wasted. Carriers can charge $10 to $15 per parcel for address correction. So it's actually got a real financial consequence. Having an address verification solution lowers unnecessary waste, eliminates those unnecessary costs, and leaves you with happier customers. Melissa's address verification tools leverage their 38 years of address verification expertise. It's flexible. It'll fit in any business model on-prem, in the cloud, as a SaaS application. They've even got a very nice API, so you can build it into your own software. And Melissa's global service can verify addresses for 240 countries and counting. I think that's all of them, to ensure only valid billing and shipping addresses ever enter your system. Don't worry, your data is safe too. Melissa is SOC 2, HIPAA, and GDPR compliant, and they undergo continuous third-party verification to make sure that's the case. So you know your data is always in the best hands. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Get started today. 1,000 records clean for free. Melissa.com/twit. That's Melissa.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support. This Week in Google. There are so many different things to talk about that Google announced. We are going to get to the hardware in just a little bit, but is there anything more you all... Well, I'm going to show one that I thought was pretty cool. The Google Bard image recognition demo. Do you remember that? Where they took a picture of two dogs, one looking kind of goofy, one kind of serious, and proposed captions. In fact,
funny captions.
A bunch of them. One of them was really good. When you're trying to figure out which one of you is the good boy. I thought that was pretty funny. I am always impressed with an AI has a good sense of humor, right?
That's what scared Jeff Hinton. Did you read the Wired article about why he left?
Yes.
One of the reasons was it came up with, or he didn't have to explain a joke. I was like, oh,
yeah,
is that what it was?
Yeah.
But you know, if you listen to Seinfeld, humor is highly structured. And Seinfeld talks about the structure of a joke, and he dissects it in a way that AI could understand.
You know, that explains a lot. His jokes sound like an AI generated them. They're very mechanistic. Have you ever wondered about airline peanuts? Right. I mean, it's very mechanistic.
It is.
I'm not surprised.
But it works. It makes me laugh.
Yeah, you're right. He had the most popular TV show for a decade, I guess.
It's like Rodney Dangerfield. I remember seeing him in San Francisco thinking,
totally
I'm not going to laugh at this. And I laughed my head off.
Yeah, because it's totally formulaic, though. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Maybe understanding and making a joke isn't.
A joke is not a big deal.
Yeah. I thought sense of humor was hard, but maybe not.
What jokes are there about dogs? Who's a good boy?
Right.
Who's a good dog?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's pretty easy.
I did feel like Geoffrey Hinton's fears were very much like Blake Lemoine's fears, that they were a little mystical. A little like, oh, it's thinking, it's coming alive. He's an example of somebody who's really worried about this Skynet problem and not thinking about, I think, the much more immediate and realistic problems that Margaret Mitchell and Timnit Gebru proposed in Stochastic Parrots. You know, the really real issues like face recognition that puts more black men in jail for crimes they didn't commit.
Right. Well, that's the use. It's always the use of the data and the use of the technology. The technology itself, you know, is not doing it. But by the way, have you seen a scenario that explains how these people think that AI is going to destroy humanity? I've never seen it actually taken through. I just say it could destroy humanity. Watch out.
It's really.
But is there any scenario? Can you take?
They don't want to say. They don't want to say this. The silent part, which is I saw it in a movie once.
Well, I mean, there are. I think you know the amount of disinformation that could be generated cheaply.
That is
real, and that is what they're thinking. I mean, those are things.
But how does that destroy all mankind?
No. Yeah, I
you just elect the wrong person.
Well, we do that on our own without AI.
You don't have to have AI. No, but that's what Timnit Gebru and that's what Stochastic Parrots was saying. More kind of these more proximate effects. I feel like, okay, maybe not Hinton. I feel like though that there's this thing that's like it's going to be smart and it's going to wake up and it's going to say, I don't need all these people. That level.
I mean, that's
ridiculous.
Yeah,
there's some of that, but there's also like putting AI in weapon systems. I mean,
well, that's true. You're right. No, that
is a movie situation, but it's also a movie situation that I'm like, would it be evil or would it just hallucinate something? It doesn't matter if he's going to bomb a capital or something, right?
Yeah,
remember we talked about Jürgen Schmidhuber.
Who could forget
years ago?
Jürgen Schmidhuber.
Jürgen Schmidhuber is, whereas Hinton is seen as the godfather of AI, Schmidhuber is sometimes credited as the father of AI. And he's in The Guardian, I just put it in the Discord, saying basically, calm down. That's Schmidhuber. You don't have it with the hat. The Guardian link I put in has with the jaunty hat.
Oh, jaunty hat. Well,
is it a fedora?
It's
a flat hat.
It's a flat hat, yes.
Oh.
That's what it is. But it somehow looks and works with the half beard. It kind of all works together. I don't think I can pull it off.
He looks, if anybody looked like a Jürgen Schmidhuber It'd be
That's
him.
He doesn't. No, he looks more like an Irish fisherman.
Hey,
I would be. He looks like a Jurgen O'Malley.
I'm a Jurgen O'Malley. I tell you what, this AI, it's going to be dangerous.
No, what he says is, it's inevitable. It shouldn't be feared. Get on with it. Just figure out how to use it.
Well, but he's also saying it's going to surpass human intelligence.
And he's not worried about that. I mean, listen, a calculator surpasses my intelligence.
Okay, in certain regards.
Well,
yeah.
And then we get back to this thing we talked about, like the biological intelligence. Like we have intelligence about lots of things, but we also tend to ignore the intelligence inherent in other species. Like,
yes,
So I'm just saying, if we take an even larger worldview, it might surpass our intelligence in some ways, but probably not in all ways.
Yeah.
What else do we see that we are interested in? Let me see what's in labs. New ways of working with AI, supercharged learning and ideation with AI. Oh, how about using AI to turn your words into music? Describe. This is
talked about this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, this didn't even talk about it today.
I want to get on the wait list for that one. All right. Anyway, anything else that you saw?
A lot of this stuff.
Go ahead.
I think a lot of the stuff in the keynote today is we as a society we've seen a lot, so it's hard to really impress us because of what we've experienced over the years. Back when the first personal computer came and how big that was, and then now the personal computer got better and better over time, and it finally hit a point where 4 gigahertz processors, just 4 gigahertz processor, and I think we're seeing that with pretty much everything on the tech side, and it's a bit of a challenge to wow us today. Granted, now AI could still come up with some wild stuff, but I don't know. I'm just not necessarily wowed.
So Google stock closed up 4% after the event.
The
market must felt like
that's
Stacey.
who the message was
I'm
for.
wowed.
Stacey's wowed. Stacey's not an easy audience.
Well, I think the things that they're doing are hard at a technical level.
I agree.
And are like the underlying infrastructure associated. And I think they're going to actually be really helpful for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And they just touched on some things like I actually thought the college jumpstart was really interesting. They talked about things like Instacart being one of the apps. They showed that Adobe Firefly app.
Yeah.
And if you imagine looking at a bunch of recipes, like, hey, New York Times, what should I cook this week? They give you a list, you refine it. You're like, oh, I hate chicken, blah, 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 whatever you need. And then it generates a list to you and then sends that to Instacart. I mean, you have just planned a meal and sent it off to be shopped for you in maybe 10 minutes. We spent an hour on meal planning.
Epicurious.
That's cool.
Happened, yeah.
Google said AI, the word AI or the phrase AI, over 100 times.
Somebody counted?
Yeah.
I said 50 times an hour.
Yeah.
They probably just fed the transcript into ChatGPT or
They probably had AI, asked AI.
And got it wrong.
Yeah. 2 hours
what's
and
duet,
about 15 minutes. Huh?
I didn't get duet. I didn't understand duet. I zoned out.
Oh, Duet. That was the workspace one where it was helping.
That's the spreadsheet. That was the
spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the spreadsheet one. Okay, fine.
So
by the way,
what I was.
Go ahead, Stacey.
I was just thinking, and I would love to hear from actual developers on this. I'm thinking about what you need from an API now, because if you're starting to incorporate an AI into it, and you want to copy those results into something else. Like when I saw Duets, I was like, man, I want to ask for a garden plan, right? I want a garden plan that works in Seattle that is relaxed, not and xeriscaped, right? For a full sun yard. And I'm like, that's a little too hard for it to generate now, but
well, maybe not.
If you could pull in those results via an API, like what plants do well in zone 8, and then have someone with gardening expertise or that aesthetic, right? They could build an app that combines that AI and tweaks it for you and then generates that for you. I'm just thinking about how how you need to build that underlying infrastructure, because we're going to have a lot more data in different formats shared across applications.
So
and
Google,
I don't want it to be super proprietary.
So just like ChatGPT, Google Bard has an API. ChatGPT is open to subscribers. You can get a key and you can incorporate it into your app. And there are very, very many apps, hundreds, it seems, a week that use ChatGPT. Bard's at this date is limited to, you have to apply. There's a wait list. In almost
opening it up.
Yeah.
Of course, I can't use it at all because guess why?
Yeah. You can use the Google Bard API to create a variety of applications, including chatbots that can hold conversations with users. We have a Leo AI in our Discord that is using another company's chatbot, but the same idea. Generators that can create content for websites and social media. Oh, great. Translators that can translate text from one language to another. That's useful. And answers that can answer a question about a variety of topics. I think both APIs work roughly the same, and you could talk to Kevin about this because I'm sure, he's a big Pythonista. Almost always they're now RESTful APIs, which means you in effect request with a get request, pass along the key and the prompt, and then you'll get back a JSON file with the content, with the results that you can parse and then use. It's not hard to do. It's a couple of lines of code. And I'm sure if you wanted, Kevin could write you something. But you'd have to get on the wait list if you want to do it. Huh? But what?
To me, it's like, but what? And this is what's so fun, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
many
excited.
of the tools that I use have ChatGPT built into them. Obsidian, one of the note-taking apps I use, has ChatGPT built in. One of the other ones, the one I'm really using most often now, LogSeek, actually it's quite controversial. Their developers say, yeah, we're going to add ChatGPT, and a number of people said, no, I'm not going to use it because I use this for privacy. These are my notes. And the developers say, no, it'll be optional. You can opt out. A lot of tools. Notion I can use now in my Notion. I can say, fill this in. In fact, I did do this when we were we had a surprise visit to Genoa on our cruise. We were supposed to go to Portofino, but the waves were too high, so we went to Genoa, and I didn't have any plans in Genoa. I didn't know what to do in Genoa, so I asked ChatGPT for a 3-hour walking tour that began where the shuttle bus would drop us off, and it was quite good. It was accurate.
Stacey, what's your prompt again for the garden? I'm in Bard now, finally, after trying 5 different Google accounts to get in.
Oh, I was thinking about I want to plant a garden for my house, like basically for my backyard.
Could be a little more than that.
So you'd want to tell it what the climate zone was.
Either Zone 8 or Bainbridge Island.
Yeah.
Sun. It's full sun.
Yeah,
it's a lot of rain.
And you could say native or non-native.
Yeah, native.
Yeah. Okay. And I bet this is something to probably be pretty good at.
But that's a lot of research that even getting that list of plants could take me a few hours.
Oregon grape, Nootka rose.
I freaking hate Oregon grape.
Pacific leading heart, deer fern, western sword fern, Oregon columbine, Douglas fir, western red cedar, western hemlock, Sitka spruce.
Yeah, okay. Those are like ginormous trees.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of things you
now
can't
you
eat.
say too small and I want to eat it.
Well, no, I don't want to eat it. I just want it to be attractive. I don't want them to be native. Actually, we had a native. Never mind.
Oh, never mind native.
No, the native plants they grow
large.
so well here.
I have a smaller yard. Please try again.
And survey says,
I'm grumpy today because I have a cold, so be nice to me. Now it just went generic. I didn't know what to do. Annuals. Yeah. Annuals are plants that live for 1 year. Perennials are plants that.
Here is what Notion did. Here's some small native plant options for Bainbridge. Salal, kinnikinnick, Oregon stone crop. That doesn't sound good. Red flowering currant, sword fern. Why are they all so angry? Evergreen huckleberry, Douglas aster, Pacific bleeding heart, and yellow wood violet.
Okay, so 3 of those plants are new to me, and I would like to see them. So I would go click on those and be like, okay.
Give me one of them. Which one?
The bleeding heart.
Wood aster and the bleeding heart.
All right, let's do Pacific bleeding heart. Ask AI to write. Tell me. Now, what's neat is this is in Notion, so it's in a notebook now. We'll see. I don't know if tell me more will. Oh, temporarily unavailable.
Does it like sun? I mean.
Oh, I didn't say sun.
Shade or
right?
something. Yeah. I don't know what you think.
Wow. Now it's giving me a detailed itinerary for a cruise from Lisbon to Rome. Oh, it summarized the document. Look at that. That was cool.
Oh.
Let's see here. I want to know more about this. I don't know exactly how to do this. Ask the AI to write.
How about see more?
Whoops. AI is writing. No, I already know that. Wait a minute. No, stop. Okay. Anyway, you get the idea. I mean, that's embedded in a notebook, which is kind of cool. Yeah. You could have a Notion page devoted to your research, and that would give you a starting point. So I think that's fairly useful. Yeah.
And then I would like it to generate a picture of the plants in my yard using AR and Midjourney.
Well, you could do that, I think, with the new Google thing. You could have it.
Well, that's why I think this is. I know y'all are like, "Oh, this is stupid," but
no, I
think a lot of this is. Yeah, that was a terrible summary.
No, I don't think it's stupid.
I think a lot of it we take for granted because if you have the right person in the room, it's super easy. But we don't often have the right person or the right knowledge in the room, and being able to get all of this context, not just the limited context we've gotten through like traditional search, and like pulling that together, that's really helpful. That's like why people hire personal assistants.
Yeah. No, I agree. I maybe was being a little contrarian.
That's okay. I'm so not contrarian today.
I've used it.
Yeah, imagine that.
I think really the key is to understand its limitations and to use it appropriately. But that's the grand experiment, isn't it? And we'll see. We had a couple of Sundays ago, Alex Stamos, Jeff was there on Twit. Alex, of course, that director of the Stanford Internet Observatory, where they study disinformation. And his real concern was that we're going to see a flood of garbage, not unlike the trucks that come to your house during Twig every week, Ant.
Every daggum week.
A flood of garbage as we approach the election. He was really concerned about the 2024 election. And I think that's legitimate as well.
There's more responsibility on every citizen to figure out what's real and what's not. And we deputized media institutions to do that. And this is not going to be the case. We're going to go back to kind of a pre-media world where we've got to decide for ourselves.
I do have to say, though, that was the one thing that Google, we just talked about, showed that was impressive is the ability to look at something and say, that's disinformation. More of that, please. That would be very useful.
By the way, the buzzing sound you heard during I.O., Leo?
Yeah.
Was a plane buzzing the...
what did it have a message?
So it did sound like a blimp. Though.
Privacy,
yeah.
Privacy. Oh, I was like, was it Apple?
What happens at Google I.O. stays at Google I.O.
Missile.
By the way, we are right now recording a show in Mountain View at Google.
Show us again. Show us who's on.
Oh, this is really exciting. Jason Howell is there with Wintu Dow and Ron Richards from our All About Android team. Here's a shot of it. They just completed an interview with Dave Burke and Samir Samat, the two people who presented about Android on stage.
They talk about wallpaper.
I don't know.
He's a nice guy. I'm sure he seems like a really nice guy, but oh my God, the wallpaper.
Yeah, it was his marching orders, I'm sure. Anyway, that is an ongoing interview. They're going to do, I think they have at least 4 people from Google that they're going to talk to today as they're down there. We're recording it and we'll edit it and put it out as a Twit News special. So if you want to know more like in-depth stuff, as if you were a developer at Google I.O., this is a great opportunity. That'll be going out on our news feed. Probably, we're going to get the files and edit them maybe tomorrow, right?
Soonish. Yeah.
Say again, John? Oh, we already have the files. They're being edited now, and it'll come out tonight. That's just
nice.
part one, though, right? And the rest will be during All About Android on Tuesdays. They're going to use them as little bits on All About Android. That's great.
Nice.
Thank you, guys. Good job to our team down there, including Anthony Nielsen and Burke McQuinn, who did all the engineering for that. And it was quite an adventure. They gave us a little teeny-weeny conference room. But we managed.
Well, that's important real estate down there, man. A conference room is a hard thing
I know.
at Google and Facebook.
And by the way, I got to thank our Club Twit folks for making that possible. This is where your money goes. You know, people think I'm not a preacher saying, give me money so I can spend it on a fancy house and fine wine. When you pony up that $7 for Club Twit, you're really supporting production and making stuff like that. You do get some benefits. All of the shows that we do ad-free, including some shows we do only for the club, like Hands on Macintosh with Micah Sargent. Paul Thurrott does Hands on Windows. We have Home Theater Geeks. Yes, we brought it back thanks to the club with Scott Wilkinson. If you're all about AV and home theaters, you'll love that show. The Untitled Linux Show with Jonathan Bennett. Stacy does her book club. In fact, I saw you're doing the new Annalee Newitt's book. That's exciting.
Oh, Terraformers is so good.
Oh, I can't wait. That's in a couple of months. And you're going to be interviewing our good friend Alex Wilhelm tomorrow, 9 a.m.
Yep.
Members of the club get that. And there's a Twit Plus feed, which not only has those shows, but also bits and pieces lying around on the cutting room floor, outtakes and the like. We try to give you some value for your dollar, but your dollar makes a big difference to us. Advertising is really shrinking, and it's a very competitive environment for podcasts right now. And almost everybody who survives does it because they've got a core group of people like you joined their Patreon or their club. Club Twit is at twit.tv/clubtwit. Aunt Pruitt's the community manager. There's $7 a month, the basic plan. There's family plans. There's corporate plans. There's a yearly membership as well. And I thank you so much. All of our Club
We even
Twit
get
members.
people that donate more than the $7 a month because, if you want to get the full club, it's $7 a month. But the option to do another $1, another $2, you could do that too. And there are people that pay more than the $7 just for additional support. And we really do appreciate that.
Yeah, and certainly there's no requirement that you do it. Thank you for doing it. We're very happy to get the $7. If we could just get 5% of our audience to be members of the club, it would pay for everything that we do.
Just as generous as a public radio station.
Yeah.
A kind of crappy public radio station.
Yeah. Is there 4 or 5%?
Hey, we're not kind of crappy.
6 to 12.
No.
We're nice. We just
Hey.
don't have the variety.
We got a pretty good variety. We got about 15 shows, something like that. I think there's a
And
pretty
better
good
theme
variety.
songs.
We produce a lot of stuff.
I
didn't even mention you get the access to the Discord, which is
Discord.
really a great community.
All the gifts you can watch.
Yeah, but there's more than that. I updated we have a Let's Play area where we have a variety of servers and stuff. I updated our Minecraft server today to 1.9.4. There's a really challenging survival Minecraft server on there for Club Twit members.
Okay, scroll past the pony, please. Just scroll.
Are you sick of the pony with the ball?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting.
How about a little
That's
Scooby
better.
Doo?
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah, mashed potatoes are good. Yeah.
The Minecraft is cool because we have.
Now they're gonna all outdo each other.
Oh dear!
They're having fun in the Discord, and you can.
It is
too.
really fun.
It's the Discord challenge.
I
Can
hang
you
out
outgift each other?
in the coding section, although the Leo AI is in there too, and he is very annoying, extremely annoying.
Is he cranky?
No, he's annoying in the way he's in the way only AI can be. Just confidently wrong.
Confidently
Let's ask him about the learning curve because maybe he'll be confidently right.
Oh, yeah, I really lost on that one. By the way,
By the way, I just got into Bard with my buzz machine.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
I authorized myself.
Good.
I said,
good.
"Do you trust yourself?" Yes, I think I do. Okay, behave, and then I let myself in.
All right, let me see if AI Leo knows anything about the learning curve. should be.
If it's wrong in the same way you are, I'm like, this is the best AI
It's the
ever.
best AI ever.
Hey, Leo. If a learning curve is steep, does that, we'll see, mean it's something is easy to learn or
I can't wait to give you.
hard
Should I give you
to
Bard's
learn?
response first?
Yeah, wait a minute. Go ahead and let's see what Bard says.
A steep learning curve is a term used to describe a situation where there is a lot to learn in a short period of time. I think that's an answer, but wait, the next sentence says, this can be either harder or easier depending on your perspective.
Ah, jeez.
Okay.
No, either.
Here's what AI Leo says. Well, Chief Twit, I'm glad you asked. As a highly advanced AI construct with an infinite knowledge base, I find all learning curves to be quite easy. But for mere mortals like yourself, a steep learning curve typically means something is difficult to learn. Don't worry, though. With my help, you'll be a tech expert in no time.
That's your radio
Oh, it
show.
started out so promisingly.
Anyway,
What platform are you? Is that? Which
I
one?
can't remember. Anthony Nielsen set it up. Do we know what he did with that?
I don't remember.
Anyway, that's another benefit of Club Twit. You can get confidently wrong answers from AI Leo.
From a
Patrick
jerky
knows. Yeah, Patrick worked on it. I just signed up for something called Acapela. I'm very curious about this. This is yet another place that says if you give us voice samples, we will generate a voice for you. Acapela-group.com, and they do this for free, but I had to read 215 samples. It took me all morning. And then a lot of them were things, I'm worried about it because a lot of them were things like, I'm typing this, so please give me some time to give you my answer. And help, I've fallen. Can you help me up? So I'm a little worried about what they're going to use this for. Actually, it says here, users about to lose the ability to speak can now recreate their voice synthetically. That's actually really cool to keep this essential part of their identity. So you can also add some phrases of your own, like, I love you, honey. Thank you for being a great spouse. And can you change my diaper now? And things like that. So customize those in your voice.
Yeah, it's coming, guys.
Yeah.
Don't get to.
It's already been used by many patients in many countries, 21 languages, 10 minutes of recording, and they're allowing you to do that for free. Although I imagine if you were going to use it with a speech device, that you'd probably have to buy it. But they do have a 3-month free trial. So when I get that back, we can play with that. Be interesting. 99 euros or dollars a year.
We won't see you in This Week in Google anymore. You'll just be like, I'm going to have my voice voted in.
Stacy, can you change my diaper? And that'll be fun. All right. Moving right along, shall we? Let's talk hardware. All right, Stacy. Time for a game. Do you think Leo ordered any of these products?
Yes.
Which?
But you were probably cranky about the folding phone. That's what I think you ordered.
You think I ordered the folding phone but was cranky about it? I was so cranky, yes. I said, no way, I'm spending $1,700 effing dollars on that folding phone.
Yes.
So you're right. I did not order it, though. I was cranky.
Oh.
I was very excited about the tablet. Yeah.
Surprisingly excited about.
Including the dock. And they're throwing the dock in. So the tablet's $499, 120 gigs of RAM. 128 gigs of RAM, $100 more, you get more RAM, 256. But I love it that I was relieved, frankly, they're throwing in the dock because I think this is a good idea. It's a normal, Android tablet. It's 11 inches. But with the dock, it becomes like a Nest hub, right?
But it doesn't.
Okay,
and this is why I was disappointed.
Oh, good. Tell me what I did wrong.
So, no, you didn't do it right. I am super confused as to who this tablet's for. I think that it's I love the dock idea, but I think Google just took it halfway and it doesn't make sense to me because I think it doesn't solve that big of a problem.
Well, it's always,
Like,
they made up the problem that you have a tablet, but you always forget it, put it in the drawer, and then it's not charged. So
I don't think that was a problem like when we all got tablets like 10 years ago, but we all figured out that we just have charging stations.
yeah,
or
I keep my
cords at our
iPad
house,
charged. I absolutely do. I have 2 iPads and I keep it charged. But I also, I have to say, I have 3 Google Nest Hubs, 2 big ones and 2 little ones.
And this will not replace them if what you value in your Google Nest Hub is all of the thing.
I can't say, hey, Hub, set a timer for 12 minutes for green beans. I can't do that.
When it is in the docking mode, if the tablet is there, you can.
Oh, good.
But
and I
so
can say,
it does.
hey, turn off the lights because I use it for that.
But if someone has your tablet, then that's gone.
Well, nobody's going to take my damn tablet.
He's rude and selfish.
It won't do it in. So it has hub mode, but it only has hub mode when it is. It only behaves as a smart home device when it's docked.
Well, that's good.
And that,
at least it does that.
At least, but I already have a Nest device that does that. And it doesn't have a thread radio.
Oh.
The dock itself doesn't have any microphones, so it doesn't do anything. Like
by
the dock
itself.
Without the tablet is nothing.
Right.
And it doesn't have it does have ultra wideband, but it's not using solely or anything for like presence detection. It's just doing kind of range stuff. To me, I wanted this to be like a full value smart home device and a tablet, because for $500, it's a lot. And
so the main thing it doesn't, I'm a little confused. The main thing it does not do is
act as a smart home device all the time
when it's
what
detached.
you want
when it's
from
detached.
I don't know why it wouldn't. Why it couldn't.
That's odd. It turns into a tablet.
Yeah. So that's just, to me, it's like,
Yeah.
And that dock becomes completely useless. Like, it'd be cool if that dock had a microphone so you could keep issuing voice commands to the dock.
Right.
Or it had a thread radio, so it's a border router.
Yeah, in fact, I don't see why it couldn't. And I don't see why the tablet shouldn't be able to, work.
That's what doesn't, I don't get. Yeah, I agree.
That's why I'm disappointed with it. So that's where and when I asked Google, because I was on the briefings for these, I was like, how does this relate to the Nest display products? He's like, we don't, it does not compete with that. It's a completely different audience.
Sounds like
Remember,
corporate politics.
The Nests are running Fuchsia. This is running Android. This is more expensive. The Nest Hub Max, which is admittedly only a 7-inch screen, is $229. And
that's the Nest Hub 2.
The bigger one.
The Max?
The Max used to be that big speaker. I don't mean the big speaker. I mean the bigger screen.
Okay, sorry. I'm like, no, the Nest Hub Max was
by
the
names are terrible, and I can never remember.
Oh God, I know. I hate it. I think it's the 2nd gen Nest displays. I think what it's called.
Because I have the little one that doesn't have a camera. That's in the bedroom and the gym, because I don't want anybody to see me lifting weights. And
no, there is a Nest Hub Max.
Charge for that in
You're
the club
right.
as a added benefit.
No,
you haven't checked Twit Plus, have you, sir?
Oh crap! Yeah, the Nest Hub Max. So that's the one that's closest, but it's still only a 7-inch screen. I do things like say, because I have YouTube TV, so I can say play YouTube TV on it. But having an 11-inch would be a little bit nicer. But it's only $229, and you can't detach it. It's not a tablet. And then I have the little ones, the Nest 2nd Gen Nest Hub that you were talking about. That's, as I said, that's in the bedroom of the gym because it doesn't have a camera.
Right.
This will replace a Nest Hub Max in the kitchen, I think. Because it'll No. What
if someone's streaming movies and has your tablet while you're trying to cook? Then you're going to not be able to set up your timers.
Plenty of tablets and TVs.
He has 80 of
They have plenty of ways to watch TV. Okay. They better not steal my tablet.
Like for a normal person,
but I do think having it there, like if I wanted to, I'm going to watch TV, I might want to take it and bring it with me so I can, I don't know, do stuff. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's probably, honestly, I wouldn't have bought it except I want to review it. So, and I just couldn't bring myself to buy I have a 7, so a 7 Pro. I didn't feel like I needed the 7A, but the 7A is going to be nice.
You don't.
By the way,
this be fine.
The 6A now is dropped in price at $120. So if you were in the market for a 6A, now it's even more affordable. The 7A is pretty much Who was it was saying today that the 7A is getting closer and closer to the 7 Pro?
Mr. Howell said that in our Discord today.
Yeah, that the capabilities are now, pretty close to a 7 Pro, and it is half the price.
And the prices are.
Yeah. So, and it comes in what they call coral, but I thought I'd ask you, Stacy, what color is that?
I would call that coral.
Okay.
It's like a pinky red.
It's an orangey pinky red. Salmon.
Yeah.
Salmon.
Looks like a fish to me.
It's not sockeye.
Salmon, sea,
Steelhead.
charcoal,
Charcoal's nice.
or snow.
I really hate that coral color.
Yeah, because it's neither this nor that. It's cantaloupe, but it's also salmon.
This is a commentary on why there's really nothing new with phones. When you go driving in the tunnel, the huge billboards above it all around are all Apple saying, we have yellow phones
Yellow
now.
phones, yeah.
What else?
Even when I was in Portugal, it was like all the ads are for yellow iPhones. It is. It's sad.
Yeah, sure.
It is.
And when they spend 7 minutes on the fact that you can generate emoji wallpaper, who the hell cares? I don't care. Now this is.
Meanwhile, line 60, Leo, is Google's hip video for the foldable.
So, Stacy, you have the Flip. You like foldables, I think, right?
I mean, I don't know if I'd get another foldable.
And interesting. Why not?
Well, because the price differential, I mean, I'm using it because you gave it to me for free and I wanted to play with it. But the price differential is huge on those. And I'm also not a phone snob. I don't really care about my phone. It just needs to work. So I'm not a good person to ask.
I honestly don't really like the big foldable. I thought the little foldable had some merit because it's small enough you can put it in a little pocket.
It's appealing.
It's appealing. The big one's just too big, and I don't need a 7.2-inch screen. Was it the NBA watch party that you wanted me to?
Yes, watch that. Yeah.
Okay, this is for sure going to take us down.
This is Google's.
Who else want to run?
Yeah, we got to mute it.
So it's a bunch of basketball. Do you call them ballers?
No. No.
Thank you. That was excellent.
Yes. Well done.
But wait a minute. They're not. This is not. That's the 7, dude.
No, they're
7A.
going to. They're going to.
They're going to unfold them? Oh,
yeah.
There we go. It's not that big of a way. No, first of all, bad choice for a basketball player because what are basketball players known for?
Big hands.
Big hands.
Yeah. So you makes your phone look small because they got massive hands.
Yeah.
So that might have been a tactical.
That may be what they're trying to do there. I mean, because like when I see a big phone, I'm like, nope.
Oh, maybe they're trying to hide it that it's a big phone.
Yeah. Oh, this is manageable.
Yeah.
If you're 6'8",
I think $1,700 is the kind of
$1,800. Is $17.99, right?
Oh, you're right.
$17.99.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
This is how Leo buys things. Oh, $99.
Yeah, that's why they charge. That's why they make it $17.99.99 because Leo's gonna say $1,700. It's $1,800 minus a penny.
Nope.
Yeah. It really looks a lot like a Z. Actually, this was a good piece from The Verge because they showed the Z Fold. Now, the Z Fold has a thigh gap, and I don't like that. But I put mine in a case so you can't see the thigh gap. Google, to their credit.
Can we please not call it a thigh gap? Just for so many reasons. It's gross. It's disgusting. And it's also a little offensive.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. No thigh gap.
What do you propose? A butthole?
Just call it a gap, dude.
Oh, boy.
He's been working too long.
Speaking of buttholes, by the way.
I told you, Punchy.
No. This is I think a reasonable commentary on the new logo for Google Assistant. Have you seen it?
I don't recall.
I don't like where this is going at all.
I don't either. Watch out, Stacey. The studio, get the punching thing ready.
Let me see if I can find it because they've changed the logo. Let me see. Maybe if I search for Google logo butthole, it'll come right up. And it does.
Wow.
It's the authenticator. Sorry. So the original authenticator, nice. It looks like a safe, right? It's got bolts. The new one, I guess you could say it looks sphincter-like.
Sphincter-ish. It also just looks like an asterisk, man.
Dude, that's a reach. Come on, people.
Yeah, it's an asterisk.
You know what? This is why I shouldn't get my material from Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's becoming even more dangerous.
That was my error. Yeah, apologies, everyone. So let's see what else. The Fold. To their credit, the Pixel doesn't have a gap of any kind. It looks nice and thin. They say it's thinner, in fact, than the Fold.
It's funny talking to Hardhead this morning about it. He says that phone looks nice, but man, that's thick. And I had to explain to him. I said, dude, you not played with phones long enough. That's actually pretty much what phones used to be like anyway, as far as that thickness goes. And that's not very thick. But
yeah, when they showed it to us on the whatever it was, the press briefing, it was real impressive. Like I was like, dang, that's felt.
Yeah. So did you handle it?
No. It was a virtual. It was like a Zoom press briefing.
It is a higher screen resolution, slightly 2208 by 1840. That's a little higher than the Z Fold 4.
How much does it weigh?
It weighs
floppy wrist.
The floppy wrist contingent wants to know.
About 10 ounces, which is not super heavy. It's a little more. It is more than the Galaxy Fold. Also bigger battery, which is good. And it has. It's funny because Apple gets so much material, so much mileage out of the fact that they make their own processors, and we got our A15 and we've got the M1. Google's been making their own processors since the Pixel 7, right? And it's the Tensor G2, which is I think a pretty good chip, but they don't get the love for it. 12 gigs of RAM.
They call it Bionic.
And running desktop computers and laptops the way Apple is doing it with all of their stuff.
Right, but I think it's as powerful. I don't know. I think it is. Camera, it's a Google camera, so it's probably pretty good. Probably comparable to the Samsung. The Fold camera is very good, I think. Does not have 8K video recording. Fold does. It's got a fingerprint scanner in the power button. I like that. That was a good choice. It does have Face ID, Face Unlock, which the Fold does not. Millimeter wave and sub 6 gigahertz. Stacy says, thumbs up, right? Wi-Fi 6E, that's good. No stylus.
Yeah, for a phone.
Yeah, and both $1799.99.
Does the Samsung have a stylus?
Yes. The Samsung is basically
the Pixel tablet
Note.
didn't have a stylus.
Oh, it doesn't. They didn't mention a stylus, did they?
No, it actually doesn't. Someone asked, and it does not have a stylus.
Interesting. Or
it just feels like a half-assed tablet.
Yeah, which is what every Android tablet, well, certainly every Pixel tablet has felt like. I guess people like the Samsung Galaxy Note tablet. Anyway, Pixel Fold. Oh, so when did you get your briefing? You were all up on this already.
May 1st.
May 1st?
Wow.
I was still in Italy. No.
Shut. You didn't share with us.
Yeah, she's good.
For me.
You were NDA.
Still in Italy.
You can trust Stacy with your secrets.
I presume you were NDA'd on all of that.
I only do embargoes. I don't do NDAs, but I was under embargo.
So you could
I don't
have
break
told
embargoes.
us. You could have told us.
Yeah, you could have lorded
once.
it over us. I know something you don't know.
Once.
Also, I try to keep my word. I mean, I would
wait a
never
minute. What's the
intentionally
difference
break an
between an embargo and an NDA? Embargo just means you can't write about it till midnight Tuesday or whatever, right?
Yeah, an NDA is like legally binding.
Yeah, an embargo means,
is like a promise.
Yeah, I might intimate. For instance, an embargo, you could intimate, I've seen it. I'll have an article on Tuesday, right? That wouldn't break the embargo.
You are allowed to say you're under. Like I even said it last week. I said I was under embargo for some of this stuff.
Did she? I missed that. Oh, well. I would have pressed you.
I know you don't listen to me.
I would have pressed you hard. One of the things Google mentioned is that, and this is, I think, going to be interesting. I wish I could go to Ohio to do it. Wendy's is going to use Google's Bard as an order taker. They're going to try it out first. Yeah, at a Columbus Wendy's. They say it's going to shorten the lines. It's going to make them longer.
Good gosh.
It's not. Have you ever met a chat that is not loquacious?
Maybe it'll be trained on short people, or people who are not short people.
It'll be
Brief
very
people.
This is all right. I'll just tell you what the Wall Street Journal wrote. Mr. Pennegur, whoever he is, says it'll be very conversational.
No.
You won't know you're talking to anybody but an employee. In fact, Wendy's mistakenly said it's smarter than our employees.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
I'd like a lemonade with no ice. Yes, the lemonade is very nice.
Yeah.
You know
Wendy's,
what's gonna happen.
no, because they're doing a customized language model that understands there's cars, there's noise, there's kids in the back seat. They're going to filter all of that out.
We're going to see TikToks of Wendy's.
Oh, I can't wait.
Screwing up.
Oh, man. TikTokers converge on Columbus.
Yes.
We need to see this. Wendy's customized language includes unique phrases Wendy's customers apparently use. Now, I've been to a Wendy's. I've never called it a JBC.
Oh, my gosh.
For a junior bacon cheeseburger.
I've actually heard some of those now.
Have you?
Think about it.
You know what a biggie bag is?
The JB. Yeah, I've heard those phrases. But
When
I
they
They
haven't
have an
said it,
ad campaign
but
for
it's
the
because
biggie
I
bags.
have a teenager or 3 running around. So
I actually like Wendy's. The hamburgers are square.
yes, give me Baconator all day, baby.
Yeah. Wendy's
No,
milkshakes
the
are
spicy grilled cheese sandwich or spicy
yeah.
chicken sandwich. That's my go-to.
Oh, yeah.
fast
I
food.
love their chicken
Popeyes
sandwiches.
has a much better chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
You heathens.
Until
You go
Popeyes
to a
came
burger
along.
joint for chicken. Come
No,
on,
I know.
heathens.
I know.
I don't like burgers.
Wendy's calls its milkshakes Frosties, but the chat has to understand milkshake and Frosty. Oh, no. You may, Thomas Kurian, CEO of Google Cloud, you may think driving by and speaking into a drive-thru is an easy problem for AI, but it's actually one of the hardest. I believe that. There are a lot of challenges. Noise. You know, wait.
What do you want? Shut up, kids. Let me order.
Oh, and they have the upsell built in. The upsell is built in, kids.
Oh, no.
Of course they do.
Was that a super large?
Yeah. Would you like a milkshake with a Frosty? How about a biggie bag? It's as least, this is Wendy's CIO, Kevin Vasconi, says, it's at least as good as our best customer service representative, and it's probably on average better.
Oh, that's that.
Mr. Vasconi.
Strike
Foot
now.
in thy mouth.
Bring in the
He
union.
clearly,
Bring in the union.
I don't know if he, yeah, he must actually eat at Wendy's. I don't know.
80% of food orders at Wendy's are made in the drive-thru. Have you ever been in a Wendy's?
Yes.
Now you know.
Yes,
why.
when my kids were little.
Yeah.
That's one of, that would be variety for me instead of Burger King.
Honestly, I typically go inside of these
Really?
places because it's usually faster than
It
the
is.
drive-thru.
Well, and that's
too.
the whole problem they're trying to solve is they want to, it says the order goes directly to the chef.
Chef. Say it with a straight face. Say it with a straight face. Read that again.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. It'll be in Columbus, Ohio in June. Please, TikTokers, fill us in.
Oh, man.
All right. Is there anything else from I/O? We mentioned the 7A. We mentioned the
That's it for my, no.
That's it.
Hey.
By the way, if you get that $17.99 phone, you'll get a free Pixel Watch with every
That's not a
one of
Pixel
10
watch
people
on
have
your
them.
wrist. That's not a Pixel watch on your wrist, sir.
Yeah. No, you're right. This is the good one. Yeah.
Hey, you said the 6A was marked down. What was it marked down to?
I thought I saw
$4.99.
No, 49 is the 7A. I think I saw
6A.
I wanted to say 329 I saw, but look, I can do it for you. I'm a member.
6A.
I'm not only a hair
$2.99.
I'm not only the president of the hair club.
349.
I'm also a client. $349. Okay.
$349.
That
Not
I
bad.
think is a good price for a great phone.
Yep.
That's probably the sweet spot. to be honest.
Oh, you can buy a 6A at Best Buy for $299, but it's only 128 gigs.
It's subsidized, though.
That's all I would need.
You probably have to sign up with AT&T.
No, Best Buy's is unlocked.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So,
$299.
I don't.
Now we're talking.
Maybe it's the color. Oh, yeah, because
don't.
Oh no, you could get charcoal. It doesn't have to be sage green.
Perfect.
Is this for Queen Pruitt or you?
No, I'm considering another phone.
Oh.
But it's only 128 gigs. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, that's totally
Photo Man?
Or do you?
I'll tell you this right now.
I don't keep all of my photos on my phone.
I'll tell you this right now.
Most of you crazy people do. Just
all we need
10,000 on your phone.
All we need is 100 people to join Club Twit right now, and Aunt Pruitt can have a Pixel Fold, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
If 100 people sign up, if 100 people sign up before the end of this show, Aunt Pruitt gets a new phone. How about that? How about that?
Perfect.
If 100 people are still listening this far in, that's the miracle.
Oh, please. It's not. We've only been going for an hour 48. You want to get to your Cacio e Pepe. All right, quickly.
No. Somewhat related to Google and all that. It's not part of I.O., and you may just blow me off, and that's okay. But you have the secret sauce memo. And then related to that is Google, a story from the Washington Post about how Google was sharing its AI knowledge with the world until ChatGPT came along and all the furor, and how it's kind of locking down. It's not as open as it was.
Yeah.
And is Google so special? That memo was really interesting. It was a leaked, not memo, but a late post on internal discussion.
The one that says we have no moat.
Sauce here.
We have no moat, but neither does OpenAI. That one?
Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah. They're worried. We knew they were worried that OpenAI would outcompete Google. But the document actually said the real fear, the real threat is not Microsoft or Anthropic. It's open source. And if you think about it, look at Stable Diffusion and how quickly Stable Diffusion went from 0 to 60 in a couple of weeks. It was open source because everybody could run it on their own machine, right?
Right.
So I think that's an interesting point. Sundar Pichai did make the point that they had a bunch of names for there was Imogen, Cody, Chirp,
Gecko, Unicorn.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of animals, right? The animals were like, well, we can put a model on your phone. That was the Gecko.
Right.
And
the unicorn was the biggest.
Right.
Well, I don't think unicorns are generally big.
No, I think unicorns are hard to get to, and maybe it takes a virgin to sit in a woods.
I thought they were magical.
They're magical and unbelievable,
and they don't exist.
They're not real.
What the heck is a unicorn?
They're not real. UFO hunters have built. This is all the This Week in AI. Actually, let's do it. UFO hunters, might as well be unicorn hunters, are doing an open source AI system to scan the skies. Perfect example, right? Sky 360 is a worldwide network of automated cameras. See, there's so many cameras now out there watching for UFOs because they don't believe the Air Force and the federal government that, they think they're sitting on this. So they said, we're going to do our own research and we're going to see if we can find some UFOs.
I wonder how many of those cameras return Skylink. Skylink, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I wonder how many times that pops up in the results. It's just another 30,000.
The astronomy subreddit on Reddit. One of the moderators said, we need some automation so that every time somebody posts, what was that weird link of 60 straight line satellite lights up there? That's a UFO. No, it's Starlink. They need to automate that one because it happens every time. The Sky 360 stations, if you want to get involved, consist of an all-sky cam. It has a wide-angle fisheye lens with a pan-tilt focus, and the fisheye registers all movement. Underlying software performs initial rough analysis of whatever is going on and decides whether to activate the other sensors. And then the pan-tilt focus zooms in on the object and tracks it, further analyzes it. So there's a lot of computer vision involved. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then they have a Discord server. So far, 20 people have set up stations from the U.S. to Canada to the Azores to the middle of the Atlantic. They'd like to get many, many more. Yeah, I think this is awesome. What are they going to find out? Well,
Chinese balloons.
Yeah, something. But here's a map. Actually, they've got quite a few out there. Once enough of the Sky 360 stations have been deployed, the next step is to work toward real-time monitoring, drawing all the data together, and analyzing it. 30 volunteer developers working on the software. It's open source. So I think that's cool. That's a good use of AI. Spotify says making music's a bad use of AI. They have ejected thousands of AI-made songs. They're purging fake streams and purging record labels like Boomy, which are designed to upload AI. You can make a lot of money if you can, get the right SEO. On
some
your
people
song.
might like it. Why do they take it down?
Boomy has uploaded the equivalent of tens of thousands of songs.
That's a lot for them to store.
Yeah. Nobody's doing it. It's got to be automatic. Boomy says, oh, no, our users have done this. They've created more than 14 million songs.
Jesus.
Get ready.
To me, it's like, I'm going to get people mad at me this, but AI could make techno as easy as pie.
Yeah. Techno is AI.
It sounds like AI made it.
Yeah. Humans have to dumb themselves down to make EDM. I'm sorry. We sound like old men, don't we? You like EDM?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
It's fun to dance to.
Stop dancing to that synthetic music. You young people need to listen to rock and roll.
Gosh. All right, let's get you going here because you're just getting, man.
Parsons. You know Parsons School of Design? That's where Project Runway started, right? Tim Gunn and all that?
Well, it's known for other things than that, but go ahead.
It's a well-known fashion institute, right?
Yes, it is.
They have a class now. They're doing it in partnership with Roblox to do an avatar clothing design course. It's called Collab Roblox. And they say
everything's a collab these days.
Yeah, our students want to design not clothes for Gucci and Lauren and Burberry, but for Roblox. And actually, Gucci, Ralph Lauren, and Burberry all have Roblox versions of their clothing. So maybe there's a big business. Prices range from 50 Robux.
But did they mention NFTs in this? Because I want to say that was a part of the hustle discussion last year before.
Oh, now Roblox. We've moved on to AI avatar design. I don't know. Anyway, it's a 3-hour weekly course, 4 credit, but there's a catch. Roblox gets 30% of every transaction.
There we go.
There is a catch. You gotta be careful.
Apps.
Business is business.
Can't be sexy because we got kids on here. One student tried to make a digital corset for an avatar, got a warning from Roblox. We do not permit sexual content of any kind.
The corset is sexual.
Corsets are, the corset sweatshirt is like one of the most like, I don't know, high fashion designs or street fashion designs right now. Corsets aren't sexy.
How about
they can be sexy, but
I think you might like this, Stacey. A bubblegum pink crop top with a heart cut out across the front and a gravity-defying puffy sleeves.
Okay.
Speaking of Seinfeld.
Parsons student Leah Melendez designed that. Digital fashion is taken way more seriously now. In real life, the sleeves would fall down the arms, but in Roblox, you don't have to worry about that. There's a lot of stories. Let me run through these here.
I got more, too. I got a few more.
DEF CON this year will have, in the past they had, for instance, the digital election machine alley or village, I guess they call it, where hackers could try to hack election machines. This year, they're going to have an AI village where hackers will be invited. Did I do this last week?
No, sir.
No? Oh, I did it on Twit. That's why. They're going to hack large language models built by OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic. There's Anthropic again. They got a good PR company. I don't know. Mm-hmm. That'll be August 10th through 13th. And they expect...
Anthropic or Anthropic?
Well, in the ancient Greek, it's a takeoff of the word anthropos. Anthropos, anthropo. Socrates was a man. All men are Socrates. Therefore, I don't know. Fortnite is now an Olympic esport.
What?
The Olympics are adding, or looking at anyway, esports.
Oh, you're kidding me. The Olympics?
Well, it won't be in
money.
It won't be money. It won't be in the official Olympics yet. Those are going to be in Paris next year.
Well,
this
ridiculous.
year, the 12 top players from the Fortnite Championship Series will go to Singapore, 23rd to 25th of June, to join players in other sports: archery, baseball, cycling, sailing, taekwondo, and tennis. Also chess, but not real, online, right? The dance event will be Just Dance. The racing event will be Gran Turismo. Archery will be replicated by a smartphone game called Tic-Tac-Bow, which combines the traditional classic pen and paper game Noughts and Crosses with archery. So that's got to be fun. But the weird thing is, for the longest time, the IOC said, no shooters. But they say Fortnite's okay. It's a family-friendly shooter.
They have biathletes, man.
Yeah,
those people literally ski and shoot.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll watch for that Olympic event. It's not yet officially. You're not going to get a gold medal or anything. But you know what? In 4 more years, who knows?
You get a fake virtual gold medal.
Yeah, virtual gold medal. Kind of bad news, but we'll see. Maybe the other shoe will drop. But a judge has dismissed the FTC lawsuit against Kochava, which is a data broker. They were selling location information from smartphones.
The FTC's not getting a great track record here in court.
This is bad news. The company collects more than 90 location data points a day from about 35 million active mobile device users. The location coordinates can reveal where each mobile device has been approximately every 15 minutes. The FTC filed a complaint last August saying that the sale of geolocation data on tens of millions of smartphones could be used to track people's visits to private locations like churches, synagogues, mosques, abortion clinics, domestic violence shelters, medical centers, and homeless shelters. The judge didn't completely throw it out. It was the United States District Court for Idaho. The judge said the agency's claim that Kochava's sale of location data was a severe intrusion on customers' privacy, and that amounted to injury. The judge said, no injury here. But kind of gave the FTC a way forward by saying you got to show where there's harm.
So privacy harms are really hard to prove.
Yes.
This is one of the big issues. I have a real, anyway.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Moving right along.
And I thought this was very weird. Microsoft has signed a deal to use fusion energy to power its operations by 2028. The reason I think that's weird is there's no such thing as fusion energy right now.
Somebody sold them on it.
Yeah,
and the bridge too.
Or this could be kind of a way to kind of say, look, we're planning on being carbon neutral. It's just this fusion thing. They got to figure this out. They have signed a deal with fusion energy company Helion Energy to purchase electricity from their first ever fusion power plant. The company says the fusion plant is slated to begin producing 50 megawatts of clean energy starting in 5 years, distributed by energy company Constellation. Only some, a little small issue is, they haven't figured out how to create fusion energy without spending more energy to generate it than it generates. But there have been a couple experiments lately that have maybe shown that possible. So they're doing magneto-inertial fusion.
How is that an AI story?
Oh, I finished the AI segment.
Yeah, that's long ago, sir. Where you been?
I'm trying to run through, because I want to get out of here. I'm trying to run through the rest of the stories here. You saw the AMP story. They quoted Richard Gingras. They said,
And me, too.
And how did Google tried to fix the web by taking it over? The story titled Speed Trap appeared in The Verge. Google promised to create a better, faster web for media companies with a new standard called AMP. In the end, it ruined the trust publishers had in the internet giant. I'm sure you disagree with that premise.
Well, I have a thread on Line 69 about this. And, the publishers can be jerks too, but I think Google made some fundamental mistakes. When this came up in Finland, the quotes being Finland raising this and the need for what was a portable newspaper where newspaper content could travel with this business model attached, which is the original idea I had. The one Google executive who was at the Newsgeist in Finland said, nobody's going to trust Google to do this. That's pretty much what came out. And Google, I think, messed up in three critical, quick ways. One, they cached it themselves. So everybody thought they were building a walled garden, and they did the cache for speed, and they shouldn't have done it themselves. Two, they didn't pass it off to be truly open source with open source governance soon enough. And I forget what the third one was. But they just made some fundamental mistakes, I think. I know. And that they said, if your page is as fast as AMP, not necessarily AMP, but fast as AMP, then you'll get into the news carousel. But everybody saw that as bribery to use AMP. So it pissed off publishers who were an easy lot to piss off anyway. And it kind of ruined it. The truth remains, the reason this came up, the reason that Google did it, the reason that Dave Besbris built it, is because publishers have screwed up the web. We've made it slow and ugly and filled with promotions and filled with crap. And that's still the case, which is too bad.
It's funny because they blame you. The Verge says in May 2015 at the first Newsgeist Europe, Jarvis spent time at the conference arguing for someone, presumably Google, to build a better alternative to instant articles, which you said
Facebook's thing.
Yeah, was a useful technical prototype with all the wrong attributes. An open version, essentially, of instant articles. So
David Pierce got the story right. He got the sequence very right here.
Yeah, Besbris said, "Okay, let's work on that." I did not know when I argued with you about AMP and what a bad idea it was that you had kind of. We had Gingras on though, Dave.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did at the time
to defend it.
Yeah,
I had the same, I think, qualms that the publishers ended up having, that it really wasn't really open, that it was really Google.
I mean, it is now. And there's a guy named Dave Garian who I like quite a bit, and I had him respond to me in the thread, and he says it's still around and it's still being used, and publishers are still using it to get extra money, and he's got a company that does that, and it's not dead. It's just Google's not pushing it as much as they were.
Yeah. Good news: the Earth could soon be more detectable by aliens. This is
it's a weird story.
It's a non-story. Motherboard.
It's a non-story because they said, it's like 2 paragraphs into it. Well, actually, that's not true.
Yeah,
it was 2 weeks.
It's basically link bait, but they're going bankrupt. They got to do something.
But it worked.
It worked. The premise is, right now, the things that we send out, we don't send TV signals as much as we used to, or radio, but the 5G stuff, all, attenuates way before it gets to anywhere that other people, other aliens could be. But someday we're going to produce something that gets there.
Stupid story. You complain about my rundown. Jeez.
But no, this is part of our job, is to debunk.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I debunked Microsoft using fusion energy.
Yeah.
Anything else? Nearly
our
half.
blob.
What? Our blob?
The twig blob that we've talked about over time.
Oh, this was Stacy's term for kind of your data, right? Your data blob.
Well, it was a kind of a device would be necessarily a phone or something else, and it'd just be.
Well, maybe it was Joan Donovan. Somebody coined it.
Was me. I had
you coined the phrase the blob.
Well, we've talked about the blob. We all added to this idea that you didn't have a phone.
Stacey,
you didn't have a device.
Came up.
No, I would never call something so inelegant.
Stacey gets mad when things that she does say don't get credited to her, and when things she doesn't say get blamed on her.
I swear to God, it was somebody to my right of the female persuasion So it was maybe when Stacey was gone.
I think it was me anyway.
Okay. Well, maybe
Is that how am I not a person? I'm just a
person. You're a female persuasion.
Female on right.
On the right. Female on right.
Annoying voice on
That's
this
a high-pitched
side.
voice on my right. That's all I know.
That's your movie credit. Female
My
on right.
voice is not even that
No, you have a
high-pitched.
very deep voice, actually. Did you see the horrible, appalling article on Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes? Don't call me. I'm not Elizabeth anymore. I'm Liz. I don't even use that low voice anymore. The New York Times.
Change your voice?
Shame on you, New York Times, for trying to rehabilitate.
I got a New York Times editor going after me when I complained about it. I complained about it. I think it was a horrible story.
Horrible.
That it was this nuanced piece that was showing how people could be taken in by her. The reporter was putting herself in that position. I said, no, sorry.
No, didn't they even say, like, in the article, her editor was like, you got rolled, dude.
Yeah.
But as an editor, if I thought my reporter got rolled, I'd be like, I'm sorry,
publish the
I'm not running
story.
this.
We're not publishing the story.
Yeah.
But it's nuanced. It's more nuanced than we know.
No, it's more nuanced than we know. Trust me. Tucker Carlson going to Twitter. All the best people are on Twitter now.
Yeah.
Yes. The best people.
Best people. Americans are smuggling fruit roll-ups into Israel. This must be one of yours, Jeff.
It is indeed. Because you can blame TikTok, and that's why it's there. Because there's a TikTok thing that if you put ice cream inside of a fruit roll-up, it gets kind of crunchy, and everybody loves it in Israel. But they're so short there that they cost a fortune. So people are smuggling in huge amounts of fruit roll-ups, and they're getting arrested for it at the border.
I was confused why they were arrested. I guess you can't smuggle in.
That's right.
$300 worth of. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's fruit roll-up smuggling against the law.
Is it because it's a food, or is it just? I mean,
I don't. Maybe you don't declare it. Maybe you're only allowed so many fruit roll-ups in Israel.
Oh my God.
I guess they're just not kosher. Yeah.
All right, let's take a break, and then your picks of the week. We're not going to do a changelog this week. We don't need to. The whole show was about that stupid thing.
Yeah, the changelog was to fix the fact that we don't do Google, but we did Google. So
Yes. Yeah.
So we don't need to. That's our excuse.
We've made good.
I'm sticking with it. I want to put in a pitch, because we don't have an ad in this position. This is a normal ad position. But I want to put in a pitch to people who are watching the show who might have a business, who might be doing marketing for a business, who are looking for a way to promote their business or service. And I just want to put in a pitch for what we do here at Twit. Let me tell you what our mission statement is, and this is important. It will help you understand why you should be advertising on Twit. Our mission statement, it's right here on the wall. We are dedicated to building a highly engaged community of tech enthusiasts by offering them the knowledge they need to understand and use technology in today's world. I think we do that. I think we do that really well. And I think one of the ways from, in the very beginning, we realized in order to do this, we need to, do what we've done, which is build a studio, hire people, hire talented hosts and co-hosts, and we needed advertising to do this. And it's worked, because I think we have a really great audience. Half of our listeners are in management positions or above. 65% are involved in their company's decision-making, particularly with IT. When you advertise on Twit, they're all host-read ads, right? This is one thing we do that other podcasts, other advertising media do not do. They have pre-recorded ads they inject into the content. We do the ads. I do the ads, and you've heard me do the ads. And I am, the way I think about this is we turn away some advertisers because we want to make sure that we're talking about something we know and can recommend. And I feel like I'm taking, using my integrity to introduce a product or service to our qualified audience. It's an introduction. It's not the kind of ad where we say, you've got bad breath and you better get scope. It's the kind of ad where we say, here's the features, here's the benefits, here's why you should take a look at something like this. And it really, really works. Just look at some of the testimonials. Tim Broom, who was the founder of IT Pro TV, we put them on the map. They've been with our network since day one, since they started. He says, quote, "We would not be where we are today without the Twit network." And I think that's true. We're very proud of that work we've done for them. Mark McCrary, CEO of Authentic, he's been partnering with us for 16 years. He brought us our first ads. He said, the feedback from many advertisers over those 16 years across a range of product categories is that if ads and podcasts are ever going to work for a brand, they're going to work on Twitch shows. We produce results. That's why many of our advertisers come back year after year after year. There's another thing we do that nobody else does, and I'm very proud of it. We have built a great team. Lisa, of course, leads the team. Ryan and Max, our salespeople, those are the people you'll talk to. Our continuity department with Debbie and Viva and Sebastian. We've built a great team to create the gold standard in podcast advertising. We provide all the services you need because, especially in the early days, they never advertised on podcasts. In fact, many of our early advertisers, like IT Pro, had never advertised anywhere. By the way, with IT Pro, it works so well, they didn't need to advertise anywhere else. You'll get a full-service continuity team supporting everything from copywriting to graphic design. You'll get embedded ads, they're part of the content, right? Just like this. And they're unique every single time. We do new ads fresh every single time. We always over-deliver on impressions. That's our promise to you. We'll give you all the onboarding services you need. Ad tech with pod sites. We give that free to our direct clients. You get lots of reporting. You get courtesy commercials. The commercials that I do and Jason and Micah and Ant do, they're shareable across social media and landing pages. We'll give you a lot of freebies like mentions in our weekly newsletter. That goes to thousands of fans. You get bonus ads, social media promotion. And because we know, it's times are a little tough for everybody, we go the extra mile to make sure every single ad we do is going to work for you and is going to help your product or business take off. Look, if you're ready to elevate your business, reach out to us. Max or Ryan or Lisa will respond when you email advertise@twit.tv. You'll be pitching to a world-class audience. We love our audience. They're smart, they're educated, they're high income, and they're decision makers in their businesses for the most part. And you'll get a great ad, I promise you. That's my promise to you. Advertise@twit.tv. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Lisa has all the demographics from the survey.
Oh, you've seen? Have you seen? We've got the
demographics.
All that information. Yeah.
And I think the other important thing is the unaided recall of a podcast ad here is tremendous. People know the advertisers here.
I've seen research. I can't, people pay for research to find out. And I've seen it. I can't say who, or I can't give you any details. It's well over 90% unaided recall in many cases.
That's unprecedented.
Ask crazy. Somebody, what's the recall? Oh, you saw that ad where the guy gets in a car wreck and because he's doing a TikTok dance. What's the product? Nobody.
Boom, got it.
Yeah. No, nobody can remember. But our ads really work. So, yeah, I appreciate taking your time on that. But
it's comparable to that 1968 Bayer ad that we were talking about that you still remember.
And have a temperature. That's why.
Or 1963
That's why.
Bayer ad.
That's why. Hey, Stacy, what do you got? I have a new name for your thing, by the way. What's under Stacy's desk?
Sometimes it's to the left or to the right, but yeah, you're not wrong. Today, I don't have a thing. I have a reminder. It is Mother's Day this Sunday.
Oh, I'll be right back.
So, right, for everybody who might be like, oh no.
She'll like a tablet?
So the tablet doesn't ship till June. That's more of a Father's Day kind of thing. But if you are in a bind, I have, here are some quick things that you might be able to get and send.
Help me.
First up, if you're going to see your mom in person, here's an easy idea. Plant a little herb garden for her. Go buy them, stick them in a thing, and bring that to her.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Love that. What herbs would you put in there?
Let's ask Bard.
No.
I was like, I would pick things like based on what they like. Like my mom's a huge fan of.
Did you just say indica?
Yes. I was just going to gloss right over that.
A nice herb. Don't cook with it. Well, maybe you could.
I mean, I planted my mom a cocktail garden. All right, I'll just be honest.
Oh, nice.
So I put Put mint in
juniper berries,
there,
maraschino
put a little
cherries,
rosemary.
those little onions,
olives,
olive
grove,
little olives,
Pearl.
pimentos. Pimentos. It's hard to grow pimentos.
pimentos. Yeah.
Oh yes. So that's one option. The if you're not going to see your mom and it is a little late and you want a digital subscription, buy a book. If your mom's treacly, buy her a treacly book. If she's just like a normal mom and likes normal books, buy her whatever and deliver it to their Kindle. I've also bought my mom a Kindle.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I got my mom a Kindle some years ago. She loves that. Yep.
So, and if you find something that actually makes you think of your mom, you can even say, hey, I read this and I thought of you, and send it to them. And if you can say why, bonus points. Then final thing, this is actually what I asked for this year because we don't have photos in my house because we're not allowed to have stuff.
Wait a minute.
I asked for a framed.
Wait. That's a bitter comment you just sped right by.
Andrew doesn't like photos?
Andrew, we have 2 photos in our entire house.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Like my office is my office, but the rest of our house is like.
What does he think you're going to steal the soul of the person you're taking the
No,
picture?
he quotes, here's his quote. That's a little busy.
Oh, we have, he would hate our house. He would hate our house.
He hates a busy environment.
You should see Lisa's office. There's not a square inch of wall that doesn't have a picture on it.
Anyway, a framed photo. Print out a good digital photo of you, your kids, whatever, and you can do that at Walmart. You can do that wherever. Put it in a nice frame. I asked for an engraving that would be a great family quote on my frame. That's a little late. You might have to do that for Christmas. But none of these are tech gifts. But they're all like things most people, but especially moms, would like.
I sent my mom some TP-Link Wi-Fi plugs. Recommended on this show, as a matter of fact. They're Matter compliant. The funny thing is she's not going to know what the hell to do with them.
Well, Matter's easy. You just scan it. She just has to have the right app.
No, I'll walk her through it. But I think it's for things like turn on the lights. There's a lot of useful, start my coffee maker, things like that.
Don't get your mom a photo of your mom. That's the other thing. Get your photo. Your mom, you want the photo of the kids.
That's right.
Not
she knows
the
what she
mom.
looks like. Yes. Actually, you know what I did, not for Mother's Day, but just this is not a bad idea either. When I gave her an Amazon Echo, I updated her to the new Echo. I associated it with my account, and I I had all the family photos from our whole life because we'd scanned the slides, and I made that the slideshow on the Echo. And a photo frame with a slideshow of family photos. Especially because mom's 90, and that's really, she likes thinking about the good old days and stuff. She really loves that. Every time I call her, she says, oh, I just saw one of you and Eva, and you're so cute, and you're 4 years old. And yeah, really. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, happy
Mother's Day. Digital photo frames are always
Happy
good.
Mother's Day, Stacy. I hope you have a wonderful one. Yes. Are you planning anything?
My mom's actually going to be in town.
Wow.
Which is weird.
Perfect.
So we're going to have
very nice
lobster rolls and scones with clotted cream.
Oh,
yum.
Yummy, yum. Remember, the butter goes on the inside of the sandwich, not the outside. Just a tip. Mr. Jeff Jarvis, do you have a number for us?
I think I'll call on our friend Neerut Weisblatt, and she has the 7 ways that AI coverage fails.
She is a researcher who has done a wonderful book on tech journalism. Techlash, it's called. She was on the show.
On the show once or twice.
Yep. She's on Twitter at Dr. Techlash.
So it spells up AI panic, which means that Ant has to get a new panic slide here. So not just moral panic, but also AI panic. So it's A is AI hype and critic hype. I is inducing simplistic binary thinking. P is pack journalism. A is anthropomorphizing AI. N is a narrow focus on the edges of the debate. I is interchanging question marks with exclamation points. And C is converting, I think, sci-fi scenarios as credible predictions.
Yes. Hey, you know what? That reminds me, we should get Dr. Techlash on the show soon. The next time somebody's not here. I can't tell Jason because he's busy at Google doing stuff, but somebody.
I got you.
You got me, Ant? You got me? She would
like
be
a hey aunt.
We haven't had her on
taking
a
them
while, and I think this. I want to know what she means by
right
these.
now. Well, because Tristan Harris, who went all crazy about social media, now he's basically making another villain, which all he does is erase the word social media and put AI in. So he's the exact same panics.
Yep.
And so the same moral entrepreneurs are going after AI, and the panic is even bigger.
The funny thing is, she put this on Twitter, where all of the crypto bros have taken the same exact tweets and just changed crypto for AI. It's a nonstop fest of AI BS, AI hype, which is what the number one problem she talks about.
Or the opposite.
Overconfident techies bragging about their AI systems, or overconfident doomsayers accusing those AI systems of atrocities.
Exactly.
Good. There's a good Medium article explaining it all. And do get her book, Techlash, and we will get her on soon because she's great. Aunt Pruitt, what you got for us, Aunt?
I was struggling with the pick of the week, so I just went and grabbed a TGU for everyone to try.
What's a
and
TGU?
You're probably wondering what a TGU.
What is a TGU when it's at home?
It is a Turkish get-up. And I don't mean an outfit. I don't mean an outfit. So I'm challenging all of you
get up off
Twig
of the
listeners.
floor?
Get off the daggum floor. Just try this technique. Get off the daggum floor.
With a weight? I can't even do it by myself.
With that kettlebell?
Yeah, and you don't even have to do it with a kettlebell. If first try it without anything in your hands. Next, grab yourself a gallon of milk or
I can feel the pain already.
Of corn.
Yeah. So he's rolling. He's sitting up. No, he's lifting up the Turkish kettlebell.
Yep,
put out
just
his
extended
hands.
his arm.
Yeah.
It's not a Turkish kettlebell.
It's not. It's a Russian put.
It's just a kettlebell, man.
It's a 4-put kettlebell. He rush. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yep.
My back is killing me just watching this.
And this is all just functional movements that everyone should take into effect.
I should do that. A
fairly
Turkish
regularly.
get up.
Yes.
Can I wear a mustache?
Doesn't cost you a thing. You don't have to have a whole bunch of
I
expensive
was thinking a
weights.
fez and a mustache for my Turkish get up.
Which is why I had to clarify.
That's actually a good move. And then you do it on the other side, I presume, because otherwise you'll be kind of lopsided.
Well, that'll
This is
confuse me.
good for your hips, IT band, your core, your back.
The good news, I think
And when you go down, it's real important though when you do the flop down. Coming down, you have to hold your core, because otherwise you're going to whack out your lower back.
Yeah,
right.
Lower back. Yeah.
Core is so important.
I'm watching him do it. I'm like, I can't hear him say it, but that's super important right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was a YouTube video, but I think if you search for Turkish get up on YouTube,
Turkish get up,
you'll either get a guy in a fez and a mustache, or somebody lifting.
That's what you get. You get it.
You get it. You got to do whatever the first thing you find is. Very good one. Actually, that's nice. I might do that tonight.
Yeah.
I won't be here next week.
You don't have to use a weight.
I can tell you right now. It's actually, you know what? I think it's easier with a weight because you can use it a little leverage
for balance
and balance to get you over. It's kind of harder without a weight. I think,
and if you can't get up on your own without like pressing up for the floor, like if you can't get up without using your hands, you should work on that too.
Oh,
yep.
That's real
Just
good.
roll
You
over.
can't get up. You say, okay, I can't get up.
Trust
I've
me.
fallen and I can't get up.
Trust me, Stacy, when you get to my age.
Yeah.
I will be getting up still without using my hands.
Really?
Because by God.
You think so?
Yeah.
Wait till you're my age. And you
I
let
will
me know
train
that.
for that.
Yeah.
But that's why I try to preach push-ups to people so much, because it's not as easy as one would think.
I can get up on my
to
knees.
get up off the ground.
But then I'm stuck. Here's my Turkish get up.
Yes.
What is that? I don't know how the Discord found that so fast, but thank you. And is that it, or do you anything else you want to do there?
Yeah. I want to say thank you to National Preps for being real. Just
Who are
give them
they?
a shout out. They are a recruiting service. And there's a lot of recruiting services out there, and it's straight up money grab. I've seen them. They've tried to lure me in, and I've told them no. There's a lot of politics involved, but this crew right here, they're quite reputable.
Oh, good.
My coaches from back east spoke highly of them. One of their representatives is here in Sonoma County.
Nice.
And has reached out to me several times, and he didn't try to sell me on anything and whatnot. And he actually tried to go the extra mile for Hardhead, because Hardhead whipped up on one of the teams he coaches for. So
Nice.
So he was like,
that's a good way to get known.
We want to try to help him out, and I really appreciate them just being real.
How is Jacob's Quest going? I know you're trying to get some scholarship money and a good school for him.
We're still waiting around. He had a really good week last week to help make a name for himself. Part of National Preps is they have showcases around the country throughout the season. And we went to it as a quarterback and linebacker, and which is usually just
I'm
let you
impressed
just
as
do
hell.
one.
I would like to see him do a Turkish getup now. That is good, man. He's got some
that's
nimble
linebacker
footwork.
drills there.
Yeah.
And that's linebacker drills. And he ended up getting the MVP for the linebacker. There
Go for
at the
quarterback.
camp.
That's where the money
And so
is.
a lot of people gave him extra recognition for that. And I appreciate National Preps for allowing the platform, if you will. But just a couple of days before that, he ran in the NBL League Track and Field Championships here and defended his title as the fastest kid in the league in the county for the 100-meter
kid
dash.
Not have a scholarship to all the best universities in the country?
Too.
He's smart. He's handsome. He's an excellent athlete, and he's straight A student.
Yes.
Handsome. What?
Well, he's got good genes.
Okay. Let me just tell you, Miss Female Persuasion.
On the right.
Colleges, they're trying to raise money with their athletic programs. They want some good-looking people to go out and shake hands with the alum.
They do. It's a business.
They don't want somebody looking
this.
like me going, hey, Mr. Alum, give me 100. They want some lookers out there, right? And by the way,
He said looker, not hooker, just to be clear.
This is true.
No, Jacob is handsome in a good way.
He is.
He's a
Is there a way to be You know what? I'm about to run out of battery on my headphones. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask these questions.
Okay. There's no bad way to be handsome.
He did very well. He broke his school record last week, and we're running again this weekend in the sectionals, the North Coast sectionals this weekend. So
I am honest. I just don't get it. I mean, this guy should be snapped up. How do we help?
I think so too.
How can we help? Besides
just keep telling people.
Yeah, just follow ant_Pruitt on Instagram and then share his videos. Let's get
if you're
pay for college.
An alum of a sports school out there,
that's a good way to
use
do
your
it.
clout.
Yeah.
Call him.
Would he be interested in Yale or maybe not?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
It's like he'll be interested in what I tell him he's interested in.
Yes. We've discussed the Ivy League a couple of times because I think I've mentioned before.
Columbia, right?
Has reached out, and Dartmouth
and Dartmouth
reached out.
Don't go to Dartmouth; it's freezing. Columbia would be great. It'd be in the Big Apple.
Be in my town.
Yeah. But Hanover in the winter. Whew.
Yeah, I want no part of it. But hey, we have discussed it, and he's open to those.
Yeah, no, he should. He should. You know what?
It's about the big picture.
It is.
He's trying to get a job, and
those schools get you good jobs. That's really true. He could be a Supreme Court
take
justice.
care of me and Queen Pruitt.
That's my thinking. That's my retirement plan right there. All right, Ann. Hey, great to see you. Join Ant tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern.
Yes.
As he interviews Alex Wilhelm. Feed him some good questions.
Yep. Throw the questions in the Discord. There's a thread there in the Club Twit events with Alex Wilhelm's name on it. Just pop your questions in there, and we will go through a handful of them and have a good old hour tomorrow morning.
He's, a financial wizard. You can ask him about the recession. You can ask him why tech stocks and tech companies are plummeting. What's going on? Why so many layoffs? Ask him about crypto. Ask him about NFTs.
Ask him about Has.
He's Has. What's that?
F1.
Oh, he's an F1 fan? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Ask him who his favorite driver is. Vamos, Alonso.
Nice.
Yeah, just all of that stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love Alex. And do ask him what it's like to live in Leo's childhood home, because it's got to be a thrill for him, right?
How did you find that out?
He's at
It was
the time
very awkward.
girlfriend at the time. We were doing the new screensavers. Alex was on the show, and his girlfriend Liza was studying medicine at Brown. And I said, "Oh yeah, I grew up in Providence." She said, "Oh yeah, that's cool. So did I. My family's from there." And I said, "Oh, that's cool. What street?" And she told me the street, and I said, "Oh, that's the same street as me." What house were you in? She told me the number. I said, "That's my house." And then she said, "Well, here's the funny thing. We're living there now because my parents bought it and gave it to us, and we're living there." And I went over. I visited them over last summer and saw the house.
Did you find the little marks where little Leo was growing up on the closet door?
Oh, I didn't look for that. They pretty much fixed it up, so I doubt those are there. But I should have looked for that. You're right.
Was it freaky to go into a house in your childhood?
It was nostalgic.
Yeah.
They've made it very nice. They've fixed some stuff. But I went into the little side room off the kitchen. I said, "Oh yeah, that's where I watched the Apollo landing on the moon in 1969." And I have a picture of me as a Cub Scout with doing the Cub Scout salute from in that very spot. And then we went up and looked at my room, and they had changed enough so that it wasn't too freaky. It wasn't like, wow, Ebenezer Scrooge going back in time.
Right.
But it was good. I was really happy to see it. It was very cool. And I love them. And his wife Liza, and they just had a baby. And they are wonderful people. They are two of my favorite people in the world. So I feel like the vibes are good there. I'm very happy about that. Except for the 15 dogs they have.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to ask them about that.
I didn't know about that. Okay.
They're not 15, but they sound like there's 15 of them.
I'll throw that question in there for myself. Hold on.
No, they're great.
Dogs
He does all of his stuff out. They built a little in the backyard where I used to. It was so funny because he's right next to this giant oak tree, this giant pin oak. And I said, my dad planted that when we moved into that house. And I sent him a picture of my dad digging the hole and putting this little tiny tree in there. And then I sent my dad the picture of the tree now. Talk about immortality. It's like it's 80 feet tall. It's huge. And we planted that back in, it must have been 1966, something like that. Wow. So it's pretty cool.
I go and see my mother, but the last time seeing my mother, it's still cool to me because her house hasn't changed very much.
Is that the house you grew up in?
Yeah, it's the house I grew up in. And she has one addition on her bedroom, basically just expanded her bedroom, but the rest of the house is the same other than my bedroom is now her office. But everything else is exactly the same.
Yeah, see, I was kind of deprived of that. Lisa's parents are still here. The house she grew up in, they still live in it. There's something about that that's kind of neat, gives you roots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My father, by the time he died, I think had moved 27 times.
Yeah, that's more my life
I went to
story.
4 high schools in 3 states, 4 elementary schools in 3 states.
Yeah. That, my friends, is Jeff Jarvis, the director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. He's on Mastodon at Jeff Jarvis, and he's, of course, the author of a brand new book coming out in June called The Gutenberg Parenthesis. You can find out about it and even pre-order it at gutenbergparenthesis.com. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, boss.
And I don't know why I do
twice
this
today.
I know. Thank you for being here this morning. That's right. We spent a long time together. And I'm sorry. I should really get rid of Stacy fast first. Instead, I dragged it out.
I thought you were just going to stop that. I should just really get rid of Stacy.
long, boring conversation.
Like the kid waiting. It's like the school day is almost over. It's 3 minutes.
Can I go now? The clock moves so slowly, doesn't it, at the end of This Week in Google, Stacy?
It moves the same, but it's just so long. We started to end the show at 5:09. It's 5:22.
I know.
Oops.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
My bad.
Oh, no. I actually wanted to know how you found out that someone was living in your house.
It was wild.
That seemed kind
That
of
was
weird.
really weird, yeah. Stacy is, of course, at stacyoniot.com. That's her website. The IoT podcast she does with Kevin Toffel is there. Comes out every Wednesday at Giga Stacy. Thursday, sorry. They record on Wednesday and release on Thursday. At GigaStacy on the Twitter. Anything else you want to plug? Do you have an event coming up? Are you going to give a lecture somewhere? Is your new novel out? Did you write a book?
Now I feel like an underachiever. I'm like,
book about the 12 theses on Luther hammering up on the. I don't know. No, you're like, yeah. No, I
haven't done any of those things.
I don't even have any pictures in my house. I just hear. Yeah.
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
Nothing for you.
We love you, Stacey. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for joining us. We do Twig every Wednesday at 2 p.m., normally at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. There's a live audio and video stream all the time at twit.tv/live. And if you go there when a show is being recorded, you get to watch it happen live. And if you're doing that, you might as well chat with us at irc.twit.tv. That's open to all. Club Twit members, of course, have the champagne room. You can go to the Discord and chat with us there. We also have on-demand versions of the show available at our website, twit.tv/twig. If you go there, you'll see a link to the YouTube channel dedicated to This Week in Google. And you'll see the podcast players. You can click one of those links and add us to your subscriptions if you would. That way you'll get it automatically. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. We will see you next time. Don't forget tomorrow with Alex Wilhelm, Sunday for Ask the Tech Guys, and of course follow that Twit News feed for the very interesting interviews they just completed at Google for more Google. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
It's midweek, and you really want to know even more about the world of technology.
So you should check out Tech News Weekly, the show where we talk to and about the people making and breaking the tech news.
It's the biggest news. We talk with the people writing the stories that you're probably reading. We also talk between ourselves about the stories that are getting us even more excited about tech news this week.
So if you're excited, well, then join us. Head to twit.tv/TNW to subscribe.